Hello and welcome wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is. It's MyWhoosh. It's the Sunday Race Club. It's qualifier race number 2. My name's Matt Payne. I'm here in the studios with Emma Martin for qualifier race number 2. Last week's qualifier was an absolute blast. Really, really great to watch. Do have a watch back if you haven't seen it already. It's some great entertainment in there from our amazing riders who are filling our screens, and they're going to be doing so once again on a route today, Emma, that it's, well, I don't want to say it's all about the end, but the crux of this course
Well,
is at the end.
it is, and I have to say, I'm really looking forward to this. This is the third time we've been to this course in Hederiat with the women's racing. It's 40.5 kilometres with a average, well, a gradient ascent of 250 metres, which is not a lot. It's a bit fast and furious till we get to the end, because at that 35.4 kilometre marker, we hit the Hederiat ascend climb. It's a multi-stepped climb, 9 steps in total. It's push, recover, and both times we've been here before, we have seen big groups come into the base of that climb. And wow, it really gets exciting. Now, along the way, there are 4 sprints, and the first one of those comes at the 2.5 kilometre marker, so pretty much straight out the pen. For me, the key theme today of this race is draft like a monster, climb
Like,
like an angel.
yes, indeed. Indeed. I think that is it. It really is. And I think for me, being able to go into that final climb with as much explosive power as possible is going to be key, because it's steps as well. So those steps are going to require some real good kicks, some big power, and then lots of rest in between. So as usual, the Sunday Race Club, for anybody who is new to the Sunday Race Club, 6 race starts in the women's race, 6 race starts in the men's race, and time gaps in between. All the riders can draft each other and can catch up and use the advantage of being in with the rest of those riders. Now, the first riders away, category 6, the teams represented today, Cycling District represented by Susanna Lopez. We've got Kitty Hawk Racing Skyclaw team with Jessica Hamilton and Melissa Scriven. The Level Cycling Warriors are going to be captained by Brooke Samuel. The Level Phoenix squad with Birdie and Diskel and Rachel Hooker. And the Royal Ascent team, Camilla Silla Botero, representing the Royal Ascent team. Now, the teams at the moment are really for information only, rather than when we come to the end of the month, to the finals, when we have the team competition in play. But a lot of the teams wanted to get some of those tactics dialed nice and early. It's time to go racing. No, it's the first of our waves of riders away. It's category 6, heading out of the pens, heading out and away, and heading out on to the course here in June. And I do want to say Eid Mubarak to everybody. A good Eid. I know plenty of people out and around the globe celebrating that.
Yes.
Some in more style than others, I'm sure. And I have to say, I hope if you are celebrating that, you're having a good celebration.
Well, the category 6 riders coming out of the pen, nice and steady, up to pace very, very quickly, 36 kilometres an hour in the first 300 metres. The pack now widening across the boardwalk because the pace has come off the initial drive from the front, and the riders settling into a steady pace. Now, Sarasu is there, Kirchner, Hadjuk is in the mix, so is Scriven and Driscoll. Alicia Fielder is there, as well as Musa Al-Mansouri, and the pack all coming together nicely at the moment. Now, the category 6 group, 28 riders on the start sheets today. The top 2 riders from last week, Melanie Skitko and Katja Jaskalainen, have progressed to category 5. I think that is really well deserved. Those 2 have been racing really strongly, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do in category 5 as they move up on the Sunday Race Club. Al-Mansouri took 3rd place last week, and it's going to be interesting to see whether she can make the most of that opportunity with those 2 riders having progressed. Her climbing ability is really strong. It's going to be interesting to see whether this type of climb suits her, though, because I think she's really strong on those longer, steadier climbs rather than the constantly changing gradient. But this is going to be interesting to see. Fanucci Sarasu took 5th place last week. Holtman took 4th. She's not on the start sheets today. But Sarasu as well is a strong climber. Now, Melissa Scriven in on our screens at the moment. Part and parcel of that pack, nicely settled into the group. Great positioning, perfect for the draft, not out in the wind on the front, making use of that energy conservation already.
I know we say this quite often. You can tell that Melissa Scriven is in the draft because her watt numbers, power numbers, are in green rather than in grey. And when they're in green, green is good. And when they go out of the green, you are in the draft. You're pushing against the draft. And today's all about the draft because of the speed today. And to be fair, on the final climb, because we're ascending 132 meters in 4.4K, don't be fooled by the information and the shape and the scale of the course profile. Drafting is going to be really, really important every time the speed goes above 18 kilometers an hour. That's a key number. 5% saving at 18k an hour.
Well, there you go. But we're in with Angie Solorzano, and she's one of those riders who's going to face that final climb. Now, just as a note, the riders have 118 metres of climbing in the first 35.4 kilometres. That puts it into perspective.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, this is a relatively flat course, and it does mean that when there is a chance to push, and they come on the bridges, the first two climbs actually are the bridge that take you from the Hidayat Island into Abu Dhabi Central, and then back out again. They are actually quite hard.
Well, they are. And the first one of those comes at 7.2 kilometres into this race. And the first two come in very quick succession, actually. They are short, they are sharp, and they are steep. And I would say expect to push from the front with a hope of losing one or two riders off the back. And you can see on the top right-hand corner of your screen, one or two riders are off the back already of this Category 6 pack.
And the riders soon to be heading in towards the sprint. They're going to take the right-hand turn. First of our sprints today is the Hidayat Bridge sprint. This actually comes on the raised boardwalk. We'll have to come back to those riders, though, because we need to dive in. Our next set of riders ready and waiting. They're raring, ready to go. And these are our riders in Category 5. Now, no teams are represented here today. And in fact, Emma, I mean, this is a race category that has had a lot of shuffling, a lot of changes as riders progress.
Oh, yes, it's been absolutely brilliant to see. As I mentioned a little while ago, we've seen Skitko, we've seen Jaskalainen come up from Category 5. We've also seen, since we were here in April last time, all bar one of April's top 5 on this course progress up to Category 4. So over the last 2 months, there has been a lot of movement from Category 5, both into it from Category 6 and out of it into Category 4. Well, out of the start pen go the Category 5 riders. We're in with Montoya at the moment. And the pack moving nicely. One or two riders just needing to squeeze on those pedals. Aitken, Skitko, Ferron is there, Idzik, Zabala, Nikki Lloyd in the mix as well. Amy Loxley is here, Demi Atkins, Liz Smithson. Ella Vink took the win last week. Congratulations to Ella Vink. Fabulous to see her back on top of the podium. It has been a while. It has been coming. She has been getting stronger and stronger. And last week's course, which was the Tel Marib course, really, really suited her in that final attack to allow her to take the win. Brilliant. Now, Sandra Ferron took second place last week. Dani Giraldo took third. Seba Alrey took fourth. And Natalia Idzik took fifth. All of those riders are here today, and I think they are all going to be pushing when we come to that final climb.
I think they will, and I think that's going to be really, really key. You can just see our riders heading out along the boardwalk at the moment, just making their way around. The pace, very noticeable that these riders are really conserving energy, I think, on these early stages in Category 6 and in Category 5. Category 6 have already gone through the first of our sprints. That's a Hidayat Bridge sprint. And
yes.
Do we have some results for them, Emma?
Well, we do indeed. And I could ask you to guess, but it's not much of a guess.
Let me guess. Hamilton took the sprint
She did
win.
indeed. Jessica Hamilton, as we know. If you've been tuning into the Sunday Race Club for some time now, you'll know what type of sprint sprinter Jessica Hamilton is. It is her target every Sunday, that sprint competition, and it is what she is really good at. And Jessica Hamilton from the Kitty Hawk Racing Skyclaw team takes 5 points in the sprint competition with the fastest sprint through the Hederiat Bridge sprint the first time through. Musa Al Mansouri coming through in second, Angelica Limbaga coming through in third.
Fast. Fast, fast, fast. And remember, those points all add up. That they score 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points on the way through the sprints for that sprint result overall. Now we're in with Katja Jääskeläinen. Had a great race last week.
Yeah, she
really
did.
competitive. Absolutely loved her competitiveness and the way that she was racing.
Yes, and she took second place in Category 6 last week and well rewarded with moving up into Category 5. She's a strong rider.
Yeah.
Good sprint on her, good push, good climbing, good all-rounder, actually.
A good ruler. And I think in some ways, sometimes this course, the way it is, because we've got a lot of flat, then we've got one big climb at the end of it, but we've got steep sections in there. It does suit an all-rounder rather than necessarily a pure climber or a pure sprinter, a rider who could do a bit of everything.
And one of the things this course I think really does suit, particularly the first 35 kilometres, is someone with strong watts rather than watts per kilo.
Well, yes, and pure power.
Pure power.
Watts are so critical when you're on the flat. I mean, you look at the speed here, we're doing nearly 40 kilometers an hour down here. I mean, you're talking about a 10-15% saving hiding in behind the riders. That's a lot of power that you're saving. It's a lot of energy you're saving. That's a lot of your reserves. And bearing in mind, I mean, I don't know how long the time was on this race route, category 6
I
and
can
5,
tell you.
but I'd imagine it's quite a quick route. I know you'll have it in your stats somewhere.
Well, hold on a minute. I would say, yes, it is quite a quick route, other than the fact that it's an energy conservation route. And hence, whilst they're rolling strongly, they're not at race pace. Now, category 6 last time, 78 minutes 59. Category 5, 73 minutes 16.
So really, you're going to be going into your fuel reserves, and you're going to need to fuel up on the way through. We know glycogen stores generally don't last for more than an hour, but you've got to balance that against getting some sprint points. And we've seen Natalia Idzik here, absolutely phenomenal rider on the climbs, phenomenal rider all round here, going for this sprint here. She's looking to take away the segment. Now she's accelerated away up into the elite. She's gone over the top of Demi Atkins here, and I think Idzik surely is going to have the fastest time. They came in all together pretty much.
She was way off the back.
She absolutely has flown through here, but Demi Atkins took it initially. Idzik takes it overall.
She does.
So 5 points for Idzik. Gone very quickly, Emma.
It was absolutely brilliant. She took the sprint competition last week. She's been getting better and better, and she's just done the same.
Okay, let's dive in with category 4 before they disappear off our screens and head out. It's not long to go. Blitz Bays down the pedal queens, hitting the race route. Here we go, category 4 on the way. The timing, because of our riders running and taking what is a relatively slow run into the first sprint at 2.5K, we're getting tight on time between these 5-minute gaps between the riders and jumping back in with the next wave start coming. And quite often when we see a sprint at 2.5K, where the race route is more aggressive, where there's more climbs on the way to the finale, we don't have that issue. They're straight into the sprint because they're really straight on it.
No, the packs are rolling really strong today and taking us into that sprint really, in terms of time, earlier than we would normally see.
So it really is making things very interesting indeed. Now, just going back to the previous point about energy conservation there, Emma. I mean, in some ways, this course, and I was just sort of thinking about one of my earlier comments, this course, it's almost a course that it's not that it's got lots of everything, it's got not a lot of anything. And well, it doesn't. It doesn't have very much.
It has got a lot of flat.
So, of our category 4 riders, is there a rider that's going to suit this type of racing on this course, particularly when you look at the numbers? Because I always look at our category 4 riders and I see lots of very strong riders, but riders who are really good when it comes to climbing, more so than on the flat particularly.
Well, Catherine Tomkinson, who's on our screen at the moment, this is going to be an interesting ride for her, I think. A course I think could suit her. She's a strong rider. This is category 4. Last time we were here, it was 1.8 seconds between the top 6 riders. Hadlock Adahulapa, Goodall, Simpkin, and Elos. Uh, but do you know what? We've seen 3 riders go up this week from Category 4 to Category 3. Claudia Hyde's gone up, Gina Van Rossum's gone up, Melissa Simpkin's gone up. Goodall and Keinberger in here, Tompkinson, Coe, Alzat, Lopez, Sonnerson, Majuska, Karwazewska, I think, could go well from the Blitz Babes. So could Gina De Grazia. Rosa Herrera, Rosalina Barragan is here, Sabrina Horner I've seen, Holweiler I've seen, Latrigla, Valentina Latrigla is a great sprinter as well. She's got a great top end, and this particular type of climb at the end is going to be a real mix. It's something for the sprinters and something for the climbers. It's that type of course. Now, Rebecca Johnson could also go well.
We will have to see who's going to be taking away the points in the sprints competition, taking away that sprint competition, taking away the climb competition, the Hidari Ascend climb, the only climb, so a one-hit wonder. You take the segment price and you'll take the overall, all with one effort there. And of course, the overall race finish. Will it be those riders Emma has mentioned? Just a quick roundup again once more for you of the results so far in that first sprint, with Category 6 Hamilton taking top points from Al-Mansuri Limbago, and then Fiedler followed by Samuel. They're the 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points. In Category 5, it's Izik from Demi Adkins. They are 5 and 4 points respectively. Van der Laren taking 3, Skitko taking 2, and Rona May Joy Mayer taking 1. Rebecca Johnson on our screens. Well, I think Rebecca Johnson today, I think it's because, I mean, we always say she's a strong rider and she can climb well, she can sprint well. She's an all-rounder. And because this is do you know what I'm going to change how I describe this, because it's a balanced course. It's balanced because there's not a lot of anything. I'm going back to that, not a lot of anything. There isn't. There's 200. Go on. There's 250 meters of climbing. We have seen women's races with over 1,000 meters of climbing. This is. I'm not going to say it's negligible, but it's minimal.
Can I just say this is the cagiest start I think we've seen out of all the 3 race fields already underway. Category 4, it's just like. Oh, I'm not going any faster than you. Are you going any faster than me? No. I'm not going any faster than you. I just need to sit up a bit. And now the sprint is coming. And we're in with Rosa Herrera. And you can see the look on her face as well at the moment.
Well, she's going to have to pick it up, but now, because we're just going in through the sprint here on the Hidari Bridge sprint, you can see the pace picking up. You can see Herrera there just making sure she keeps in contention in terms of the race overall, not losing pace with that pack. And the pickup in pace, this pickup in speed is all about scoring points in terms of the sprint at the front of the race. We will dive back in with those riders because we're just going to get Category 3 underway. Now, Category 3, it seems here, the Cinnamon Burner race, Team Nyquist and Shanks. District 3, Silver, Golden Light for Golden Light in the Quad Collective with Stephanie Briggs. There are teams as they head out underneath the UCI arch, head out onto the course. Let's quickly dive back onto Category 4 sprint. Katie Atkins taking the win from Valentina Latrigla, then Patsy Keinberger, Veronica Wojciech, and then Gina De Grazia taking 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points respectively. Okay, quick bit of
can I
transportation.
Hold on a minute. Whilst we are there on that Category 4 sprint, one of the things I did want to say, and maybe we'll see it with Category 3, is the lift in pace that you need to do to stay in the pack.
With the bunch,
so you'll see the riders move up from Zone 2 to Zone 5, deliberately managed, like we saw there with Rosa Herrera, to stay in the lead group, and they don't want to contest the sprint. So it's a carefully managed lift of effort.
Yeah, you saw her going from looking like she was just going to ride down for some tapas to going and chasing for the taxi at the end of the night. Literally, but
she does live in Spain.
Well, exactly.
Just,
it was a cultural reference to tapas, which is one of my favourite foods. Anyway, let's dive in with Category 3. Now, Category 3, Emma, I mean, again, another category where we've seen lots of progression up and down. We're in at the moment with Emily Nyquist from the United States of America on your screens on the left-hand side in person, and the avatar on the right-hand side there. Good shot. And again, you can see Emily Nyquist here looking very calm, tapping just the rhythm out, not looking like she's under pressure at all here, sitting in with this group. And they are travelling at 38 km, but cannot underestimate the power of the bunch.
Well, and also you cannot underestimate the power of the mental attitude of these riders. Emily Nyquist, it's about 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yes, that is a time when I rarely see anything but the inside of my eyelids.
All
Yeah.
credit to our riders from around the world. Now, category 3, we've got 32 riders on the start sheets, and it really is a mix. We've got some new riders in here as well. So Anne-Marie Lipp and Gemma Mollenhauer have, well, they're both new to the Sunday Race Club, so welcome on board. We do indeed have those riders who have come up from category 4. So Hyde, Van Rossum, and Simpkin have all come up and come into this category. Now, Julia Walkenhurst has gone up to category 2. That is seriously well deserved. So well done, Julia. Great to see you progress. Now, what it has meant is Angelica Altamirano, who took second last week, Heather Shanks for the Cinnamon Bun Race Team, who took third. Those two are both on the start sheets today. It's a mixed bag, though. There's a lot of strong riders in here. Stephanie Briggs is here. Hadlock is here, who took the win here last week. Guiney is here. Salgado. Bergin is here, Montgomery, McLeod. Oh, now, interesting story about McLeod, but we're in with Ruti Reese at the moment, and you can see the look of concentration there on her face, wanting to make sure she's part and parcel of the pack and not getting dropped out. I think we'll come back to Kate McLeod a little bit later. Randy Gino is here, Stefani Piccolo, Cassani, McAlpine, Cece Olker as well. This is going to be a really, really strong group, I think.
I think it is, and I think it is all about where you stand in regard to the pack, in regard to the power and the speed. Now, with this group, it's not impossible to break away, but I think there needs to be a trigger point really with the volume of riders that each of these race fields have. Hannah Pekakova, the rider that we're in with at the moment, I mean, she really has. She's one of those riders we talk about having progressed and having got great power. A rider whose sprint ability, I think, really could well come to the fore here.
No, I agree with you, actually. Really interesting. And like we said a little bit earlier on, Pekka Kova, one of those riders who could really do some business here. She is a strong sprinter. We've seen her sprint really, really strongly. And it is that type of kick ability. She's at the back of the group with 3 or 4 other riders, De Silva, Montgomery, Gino. Randy Gino has been very dominant in the sprints in this category. And it's interesting to see her go. But take a look at Pekka Kova. Look at that push. Oh, she's really driving for that. She goes up and over the top of Amy Bradley. Lee Sophie Ramett is there as well, but Pekka Kova is dialing this, and we are in with her as she sits back down, having gone underneath the end of that banner. Has she done enough? Well, I can tell you she has.
She certainly has. I mean, she was run close there by Randy Gino.
She was.
Randy Gino, we saw initially take that jersey, the green skin suit that's worn by the leaders of the sprint competition, but Pekakova scoring the 5 points. I think Gino with 4.
Yes, indeed. So Hannah Pekakova goes through with an average of 708 watts, which is 11.6 watts per kilo average. Phenomenal effort. Gino, a little bit higher, actually, in terms of watts per kilo, but just not quite getting the positioning through the pack.
Yep. So Pekakova in 1 with 5 points. Randy Gino in 2 with 4 points. Lee Sophie Ramett in 3 with 3 points. Amy Bradley in 4 with 2 points. And then Juliet Montgomery, who I think must have woken the legs up after having been out partying last night at a concert, is managing to score a point. Despite that, maybe still in dance mode.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not
That's
at all.
warming up, limbering the body in a different way.
Indeed, going out with a brother, which I thought was a really nice thing to do with your sibling, whoever they are. Go out to a concert and dance your, well, not quite dance your legs off because you need them for the following day, but
limber them up.
Family. Limber them up, yeah, definitely.
Limber them up. Have a nice time.
Maybe it's a new technique.
Happy riders are fast riders.
Indeed, they are. Happy riders are very fast riders, as we keep on regularly saying and seeing here on the Sunday Race Club. So at the moment, we've got categories 6, 5, 4, and 3, all up and away, out from those start pens, all shown by their different coloured jerseys. We've got 2 more sets of riders to go. Categories 2 and 1. Category 2 will be going in the green jersey. Category 1 in the yellow jersey. But of course, all 6 categories with prize funds. Now, we are just starting to make our way towards and through the bridges that come up, dependent on which race field we are watching. Category 6 are already at 12.3k and have gone over both of the bridges. On the right hand side of your screen, you can see at the moment Category 5, they're coming back up over the bridge. You can just see at the moment, interesting to see at 10.3k that this is still a good size group, but it is starting to break up once again. Now, I'm just taking a little bit of a look here. That little kick off the front by Amy
Yeah.
Loxley is just starting to stretch things out here. And this is about staying in the bunch again. It's about being conservative. It's being in with the group, but the pressure being on enough to distance riders. I mean, we are seeing riders coming in the opposite direction who were dropped in the early phases here, but Loxley wanted to keep the pressure on early. Arias, Smith, and Bago all in that group behind, not panicking about the pressure that's being put on by Loxley here. And at the moment, now, that group, although they're trailing 1 or 2, it's looking reasonably comfortable in here. Although there's some big power going down here by looks. She's into zone 5 now, zone 6 coming up over the top here.
Yeah, and there's one of the things that we did say, about the course right at the top of the show, that because it is so flat until you get to that 35.4 kilometre marker, there's very little opportunity to make the group smaller. These two small bridges are pretty much the main part of the course where you can make that group smaller, and that's exactly what Amy Loxley is doing. A managed effort, I would say, here from Loxley, really trying to push on, ensuring she stays in zone 5. She doesn't go too deep, but she's going deep enough to cause problems to riders on the back of the group, and you can see the stretch. Now, 1 or 2 of those riders may be able to get back on because we're then going into a very, very long flat transition. There's enough time for Loxley to recover in the pack before she gets to the climb. At 10.9 kilometres, she's got 24k until they hit that Hederia Ascend climb. Very smart riding and very clear tactics is what is needed on this course. It might be, Matt, you were saying earlier on, it's a little bit of everything. It's not a lot of everything. But actually, it takes a really smart ride to win on this type of course.
Yes, and I think that's one of the key things, isn't it? Is courses don't make races. Riders make the action. They deliver the races, and I think because our riders are very attuned to how much effort it takes to do anything and to beat their fellow competition, they're really tuned to those little trigger points, the subtleties of the course, as you're saying there, Emma. Now, a category that we know bound to do this is Category 2. The ABC Esports team, represented by Sarah Roach here today, with the Antipodean Racing team consisting of Bridget Kittle and Sylvia Garea. 2 teams of 3, though, a call with Joanna Kalman, Carolina Kolkowitz, and Matilda Field, and the Purebred Daisies with Fen van der Vliet, Jenny Eck, and Pia Kuma. They're going to have their work cut out today, I think, here to use team tactics to their advantage here, because this is an incredibly close race field, and you don't get to Category 2 without being good at racing on MyWhoosh and racing in the Sunday Race Club. It's not, you see, like the old thing, it's not good enough just get here by talent alone. It's talent, it's hard work, it's intelligence, it's smart racing. You've got to have a mix of everything. Once you get into Category 2, it is that good.
Well, talent is not what makes a rider. It's commitment and dedication that does. Anyway, as we move on, I'll tell you something, there's a lot of commitment and dedication in Category 2. And the pack roll out of the pen, 31 riders on the start sheets. And I think my message for today is this is going to be a close race. Last week in Tel Marib, 9 seconds separated the top 12 riders in this race pack. Last time we were here in Hederia, 1.7 seconds separated the top 8. I think the message could be either someone has got a plan in an effort to break away, or else we're going to see a big pack go in to that finish line together, because this race field is so well matched. It really, really is. Sarah Roach is here. Bridget Kittle, she took the win last week. Carolina Kolkowitz took second place. Joanna Kalman rode really strongly last time we were here in Hederia. So did Jenny Eck. Dana Wagner took third place last week. Miros took fourth. Miros took fifth. Yaramillo took fourth. They're all here. Katerina Karamani is also here, and she topped 5 in April last time. I mean, I could just read the entire list of starters today and tell you that any one of them could win. I wouldn't be far wrong.
No, I don't think you would. One of the things for me, we've seen Alice Lethbridge come and race and be very strong on the climbs.
Yes.
And even where we've had sprint finishes, she's used her climbing skills really, I think, to push herself on. And I'm wondering today whether she can do that on this course, or whether a rider, and great timing by the production team, and they're clearly a reader in my mind, because Dorothy Gonzalez Rua on
Oh,
the screen at the
yes.
moment. This is a rider who, for me, this course, absolutely, she's smart. She races really strongly. She's got a great sprint, and she can climb. And because she's a smart rider, and she's part of those that group of riders that have raced on the platform for some time now, they have that innate ability to rest and recover. They don't need to think. They don't expend energy thinking about where they need to be. It just happens instinctively.
Well, Gonzalez Rua took the sprint competition last time we were here in April. Back in March, well, I'm just taking a little look because we were also here in March as well. Now, for me, Gonzalez Rua, it's all about her getting her timing right.
Yes.
She often has, when we come down to the finish and it comes down to a sprint, she often goes what I would say a little early, and someone then goes over the top. But it is all about that timing. And one woman who's going to want to get her timing right today is Joanna Kalman, because this could be a great course for her. It was a great course for her last time we were out here, and she did indeed get her timing right in that final sprint. It was a really, really good and a well-timed effort, and it's going to be interesting to see today what she can do. I mean, she did take top spot on this course in April.
So no pressure, Joanna, but there is a level of expectation that comes with having been a rider who has performed on the course before, coming with a win here last time out. I was reflecting on the fact that whilst we were looking at Joanna Kalman there, about how comfortable she seems riding. That's reflected in the zone too, and then it led me to think about this pickup that the riders have to do. Some riders prefer, and you were talking about timing there, some riders prefer a fast lead out
Yes.
with a fast sprint. And other riders want it to kick
Yeah.
from a very low speed to a very high speed. So it's about strength. And I think that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with those riders, whether they're in category 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or category 1 who are waiting to go. Ablock International, one of our big teams here today with Kolchinsky, Hermansen, Holcroft, and Soderstrom. The Sweat Sensations also up there, also with 4 riders, Guerra, Fur, Bruni, and Meyer. Supernova and the Breakaways have 3 riders each. For Supernova, Van Hove, Tomasi, and Giovanni. In the Breakaways, Alberg, Van Heuling, and Bjornhead. From our early sheets edition of Lizzie Brook to the race fields as well. So 21 riders, I think that will make it now on the race route. Should be taking to our start line in category 1. The elite riders about to set off our last wave, heading out to cover the 40.5 kilometres to ascend the 250 metres of climbing here in our qualifier race number 2 in June on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Now, with these riders out and away, Emma, I mean, we talk about riders who want a fast sprint and riders who love to pick up from a slower speed. Gabby Guerra,
Yes.
and I'm going to pick on Gabby
You're not picking,
first.
you're highlighting.
No, I'm going to probably pick on her, to be fair. Picking on her first, she's a rider who very much is very, very visible, partly because of her social media presence and the fact she streams lots of rides, of how she feels about her sprints when she does the sprints. Would you say she's a rider who her sprint ability isn't just about whether it's a fast or slow pickup, but it's also about her mental attitude as well at the time?
Oh, I think she is a rider who is driven by passion. And I think you see that when we go in with her towards the end of the race and we watch her race for the final. She is absolutely driven, and she's driven by a passion for what she does. And it's fabulous to see. And you know what? I love the fact that we see emotion from her. You know, sometimes we think that to be an elite level athlete, you have to be cold, you have to be calculated, you have to be scientific. Where's the passion? Where's the drive? Where's the emotion? And you know what? There is absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. It is commendable. And I think it is part and parcel of what makes athletes athletes themselves. It really, really is. Jennifer Gothlander, one of the riders who has joined Category 1 very, very recently. She took the sprint competition last week. Absolutely brilliant to see. This could be a good course for her, particularly joining Category 1 quite recently, where sprints are her, one of her core skills.
And one of the things I noticed with Jennifer Gothlander, one of our regular riders that we jump in with, if you are a rider and you're watching this back thinking, oh, I really ought to get on there, don't worry more about your pancake, whatever you've got. Do get the camera in there. Do get it out on the stream. We love to highlight our riders.
It doesn't have to be beautiful.
And
we just like to see you.
Yeah, it tells us a lot about how the riders are going. It gives that insight in there. Jennifer Gothlander, interesting to notice, whether it's because we're heading into summer in the Northern Hemisphere, but Jennifer Gothlander always used to start her races with a jacket on, and she doesn't anymore.
Oh.
And now, is that reflective of a better warm-up or a more intense warm-up now that she's moved up into Category 1? Or it's just the ambient temperature because of the weather?
I think she lives in Sweden.
Yes.
It's ambient temperature.
Could well be. I'd like to think it's the step up. She's having to get even more warmed up for Category 1 than she was in Category 2.
She might be, but Category 1 at the moment, we're in Nicole Meyer. Zone 1 all the way. This is one of the slowest race starts we've seen today. I mean, these riders at 2 watts per kilo, 1.4 watts per kilo from Liz Van Hooling. I love it. Most of the riders have been coming out and the packs have been rolling around Zone 2. Category 1 are rolling at Zone 1.
And because our riders are rolling along relatively slow, we're going to have a little bit of time before we hit the first sprint, which is the Herdariat Bridge Sprint. With our riders coming along here, the sprints competition in Category 1, because Bridget Falensky is no longer in Category 1, but we've now got Jennifer Gothlander up there. We're seeing riders going for this. Tiffany Penner is sprinting really well. We're seeing Liz Van Hooling going for those sprints. We've seen Jennifer Gothlander going for the sprints. The sprint competition in Category 1 for me now is really wide open. And it's also given, I think, Jennifer Gothlander a great introduction in coming from Category 2 to Category 1, particularly on this course where we've got 4 sprints, which are all contestable with the group, because you're not likely to be distanced in Category 1 on the bridges going through on those slight raises. It's not like you've got a big mountain that you can't get over with the group, and then you're sprinting solo behind.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The sprint competition could be really, really good, and whoever takes that sprint competition, depending upon how they are feeling today and how much work they've done coming in here, could well be a competitor in that final climb as well. Now, we've got a good row of riders on the screen. So Gothlander, Guerra, Fua and Mayer all on our screens at the moment. Oh, I love that shot. What a shot.
And we're going to see it coming through this sprint.
Here we go. Indeed. Here we go. The question is, who is picking up for the sprint? Look at that conservative pace. But there we go. One rider out the back, rolling through the group. There's another second shot fired. So Tiffany Penner, I think, well, she's there and thereabouts. But who is pushing on here? Fua's moving, Mayer's moving, Gothlander's moving. It's Penner at the front. Gothlander's coming up onto a wheel. Gothlander's got a phenomenal effort going in there. Oh, I reckon she's got to have taken that, but we are going to see. Penner goes into green.
She came through. Now, Penner went off early, and she went through on the front. Gothlander was basically, because that group was together, Gothlander was a little bit later coming over the line. And I think that's made the difference there. Confirmed on your screens, Tiffany Penner taking the sprint win, but by no means the fastest time. In fact, the second slowest winning time in the category with the times that's shown on your screen.
But
fastest
the pace,
time there by Pekka Kova, who we saw go through earlier.
Rolling at to come into that was so much slower than the other packs. So Penner in Category 1 picking up the sprint title. Falensky in Category 2. Pekka Kova, who we saw in Category 3, absolutely nailing that. Really, well, fastest time of the day so far. And Category 5, it was indeed Natalia Idzik. And Category 6 was indeed Jessica Hamilton.
So those sprint results in terms of points in Category 1, Penner in 1 with 5 points, Gothlander in 2 with 4 points, Lizzie Brooke in 3 with 3 points, and then Marlon Bjerhead in 4 with 2 points, and Maria Holcroft in 5th place with 1
Now,
point.
the Category 1 pack just pushing on over this small rise at 3.6 kilometres. If we just take a little look at when we've been here before, I said at the very top end of the show, this was our third foray into this course in Hadariat. The first time we were here was Qualifier 3 in March, where Gabby Guerra pushed on the final stages of that climb from a group and kicked hard and took the win, 68 minutes and 1 second. Qualifier 1 in April, Kate McCarthy used a very different tactic, and she went early on the climb, much earlier than Guerra had gone before in March, and she took the win 69.22. So that's an interesting one, because normally we say the running of the race courses get quicker. This course could throw all past practice into the pan.
It could indeed change everything, not just because we don't have Mary Kate McCarthy on a bit of a break from Sunday Race Club at the moment, a bit of a break in competition in her season. Now, Category 1 on the right-hand side of your screen, the last riders out of the pen. We've seen them go through the first of our sprints. Category 6, in fact, already have gone through the second of our sprints, with Jessica Hamilton taking 5 points, taking away top scores again from Musa Al-Mansouri in second place on Sprint 2. Dominique Chalbard taking third place, Bridget Bremner taking fourth, and Brooke Samuel taking fifth place. We've also had Category 5 go through. Natalia Idzik taking top spot there from Liz Smithson, then Seba Alray, Katie Bago, and Amy Loxley, your point scorers. That means that Jessica Hamilton firmly in the green skin suit of sprint leader on the left-hand side of your screen in Category 6 there. Just clear of the riders, and because of the distance we're at 21.6, we're partway between sprints 2 and sprint 3, so that's the Hadariat Wonders sprint and the Octopus Loop sprint. It is a part of the course here where it's about recovery if you're wanting to take away sprint points, but there is a little riser in between. It's not big, believe me, but it is a little riser. It is reflective, though, of the terrain on Hadariat Island.
Well, I think Hamilton has gone through that sprint and she's continued to drive. Al-Mansouri's just come over. There is slightly rolling, as you say, but really is slightly, but enough if you've got tired legs. There's around 10 riders in that bunch, with one or two just needing to push on to the back. You can see the gap at the moment now, 3 seconds. Al-Mansouri and Hamilton have got Al-Mansouri now coming to the front and doing a big dig. She wants to try and drive this a little bit more now they're at the 22.1 kilometre marker.
And I also think she wants to be near Hamilton because she knows that Hamilton will be fast through that sprint, and maybe wants to just take a little bit of the sting out of Hamilton's legs here by making her chase, making her work hard. But looks like the effort coming to an end at the moment. Hamilton just sitting between that main group and the leader. Now we're going to jump across to another of our regular riders here in Category 3. Now, Category 3 currently at 15.3 kilometers covered. They're making their way in towards sprint number 2, just making their way down the side of this run down. The riders already just haven't gone past the velodrome, which is on their left as they come through. That under construction. In fact, when we were lucky enough to be at the World Championships last year, we're on the mic there for the World Championship, the Esports Cycling World Championships in Abu Dhabi. And great to be down there and on the mic for that action. Will we see Heather Shanks representing Great Britain? It'll be interesting to see. Don't think because you're not in the Category 1 that you can't go take part. It is a race for all categories. There's open qualifiers. It's a great way to see where you fit into that big picture overall. And I think for me, that's one of the really key things. I would say to everybody, just because you don't think you're going to be the world champion because you're maybe not the best, doesn't mean don't go race the qualifiers, because it's a really, really good thing to do. To go race the qualifiers, go race out there and ride and know what those riders above are doing and where they're doing it, and be in that race and get an idea of where you fit into that big picture.
Well, it's also, if you finish, let's say there are 150 riders in the semi-finals and you finished 51st, what a performance.
fantastic and a fantastic experience as well to be racing on those courses, different changes of formats. Now, just going to sit in here with this category 3 group. We're at 16.2k. We are coming in towards the Hederiot Wonders sprint with category 3. Category 4 have just gone through there with Sabrina Horner taking maximum points from Geneva Elos, Valentina Latriglia coming through in third with Katie Adkins in fourth place, and Miriam Taylor coming through in fifth place in category 4 on that sprint.
Yeah.
Now, category 3 going in towards that same sprint as category 2 come up onto the bridge here. This is the leading group at the moment. Walkenhurst in there, who we did see earlier on our screens, as they kick up on to this ascent. This 4.7% gradient at the moment. It's pretty consistent as you come up and over
I tell
here.
you, this is the second time up this bridge, and you can see the pack all still together. No one has been dropped from the group. Kalman, Karamani, Kolkowitz, Manshandi here, Lethbridge, Denton, Haag, Svardstrom, Eck, Kiddle, all here in the mix, and the pack still wide across the road. The ability, the matched ability in that category 2 group. It is going to be a great, great race. Now driving into the first bridge at the moment is Nicole Meyer in category 1. She's absolutely dialing it in here and trying to stretch the category 1 pack.
They're coming the opposite direction. They're coming from the island. They're heading out to main part of Abu Dhabi. They're going to see category 2 coming the opposite direction, coming back on towards the island. You can see the two shots here. Fantastic. As they come up, this bridge is pretty symmetrical as you go from side to side. So the climb, the gradients, the ascent, almost identical as you run up and over. You can see category 2 are just going up between the two support towers of the suspension bridge, and they're going to be heading into the descent, heading and face on to Maya. Maya at the moment with a 1 second gap to the rest of the riders, but she's forced some pace, she's forced some selection, and we are seeing riders having to dig deep. Manson in zone 6 at the moment on the ascent, coming down the other side. The riders dropping down into zone 1 on the descent down here. So here they come. Category 2 are coming down. Category 1 are on the way up here, and you can see the difference in speed between those groups as they come through. Category 2 in the green and rolling down the bridge. Category 1 there, well, they're still on the ascent. They're about to go up and over the top. And very interesting to see those two packs coming against each other.
It's a great shot, isn't it?
They're separated by 1 category difference. You know, you category 2 and category 1, and yet the climb, it shows you how tough this climb is. It's a big bridge, it's a big climb, and definitely worthy of the title of being our second biggest climb on the course today.
Well, Tomasi is the rider we're in with at the moment. She is on your screen. She's also middle of that pack at the moment, surrounded by Maria Holdcroft, Elise Gallegos, Liz Van Heuling. Now, Holdcroft wasn't here last week, so she's back on the pack. Tomasi has got to be thinking about what she can do here. And she's tightly in the group, and I think that's where she's going to stay until we get to that final climb and that big push for the finish.
You say that, but Francesca Tomasi is a rider who likes to fire things up.
She does, actually.
I'm not sure she doesn't get bored.
Well, I think you're right about she does like to fire things up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her actually go early, and maybe on the small climb before the Hederiot Beach Sprint. The Beach Sprint comes at 33 kilometres. It's about 2.5k out from the start of the Hederiot Ascend climb. About a kilometre before that, there is a small bump in the road, and it would be a perfect place to launch an attack.
You say that. I'm going to say completely the opposite to you now, because I would suggest that actually, because the speed pickup in the Hederiot Beach Sprint, that will mean that the riders coming through the Hederiot Beach Sprint will pick speed up and pull back anybody who breaks away on the climb. So for me, it's actually about then counter-attacking as you come off the Hederiot Beach Sprint, because with 2.3k to the main climb, 2.3k is a distance you can go clear on. So if I was in category 1 or any of our race categories and it was still together as a bunch coming into that climb, knowing that I'm not going to be the fastest climber of that climb, I would be looking to break that group down by putting in an attack and getting 2 or 3 people to go with me at the Hederiot Beach Sprint on a counter-attack from the sprint. So not contest the sprint, but go over the top and try and break clear there. Because with a couple of K, you could get enough sliding room that you could be still in contention for the win. overall when you get to the top of the
Well,
climb.
we
So
are
that would
going
be
to
my
have
tactics.
to see what happens. And we are going to watch it unfold in 6 race categories. There
It
could
might
be
happen in one of them. You never
multiple
know.
tactics all the way across the board. Well, Category 1 have gone back to a gentle Zone 1, Zone 2 pace between the two climbs. Category 2 on the right-hand side of your screen, there you go. You can see the Hederiat sign in the distance. But they now being led by Sarah Roach. Hannah Hakkinen is there as well. Maria Marb is in the mix. The pack are rolling at the 13.4 kilometre marker. This really is the transition now between the bridges and the next sprint, but they've still got some way to go.
They have. Now, Category 3 have come through the second of our sprints, the Hederiat Wonders sprint. As we see an attack go in Category 1, we'll come back to that sprint in a second. So as we just come around this turn at 10K, this is the run in to the bridge to go back up and over. Category 1 on the move here, Emma. And Maya active again.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, she's
Kevin
part
and
and
Perry
parcel
there.
of the Sweat Sense. Pardon?
That's a Kevin and
Goodness
Perry.
me,
Yeah.
that is a very old film reference. But Maya part and parcel of that Sweat Sensation squad. Now let's remember, Gabby Guerra took first place, Fua took second, Bruni took third. Her teammates in the Sweat Sensations, Guerra also took the climbing competition. Overall, last week the team, well, they've got to be thinking about the mix for the finals in June. I know where we're going in the finals. It's going to be exciting. It's a course that I love to watch. I'm not sure whether the riders like it very much, but they're heading to Australia. That gives you a clue where we're going at the end of the month. Now, they're a strong, strong team, often run to the line by our Block International. Kristen Kolchinsky. Have guys seen Kolchinsky in the mix today? There's my question. Has she started?
Don't think I have seen her yet, but I stand to be corrected because if she's smart, she's sat in the wheels at the moment, going
I'm just having
nowhere
a little
quick, just
scroll through
trying
the
to make the
sprint results
most
on my
of
screen.
the effort there. So we're just going to take a little bit of a run across because we're just going to take a look
Yes.
at Adriana Barco. So we'll come back to Category 1 in a moment. Adriana Barco here in Category 6. The moment riding on the left-hand side of your screen in person, right-hand side, it is the avatar who's going to see the Category 5 leaders come up onto her shoulder. You can just see that group coming behind to Jaros, Fink, Smithson, Bago, Loxley, Arias, all making the way up, just bringing that time gap down as they come over this little bit of a rise before they drop down and get closer to that coastline once again. And if a little bit of a kick comes from Barco, she may well be able to just pick up this group. So just getting your timing right is really, really key. There's some real advantage to be gained by jumping in with this group. And I think they're going to come to her on the flat, which means with a bit of a pickup, because they're not traveling at that many more watts per kilo, Barco can jump in with this group, take advantage of the pace that she'll get from that draft advantage. You can watch your watts numbers at the moment. They're in the black. They're not in the draft. And as this group comes past, she'll pick up that draft. Now, that means that she's not going to need to expend as much energy. And you can just see that pickup coming there. And the draft kicks in. She's now in with that group and trying to stay with that group as long as she can. Can she make it to the 35.4 kilometre marker? Good luck, Adriana. We're hoping you're going to make it.
Well, 9 riders in that leading group in Category 5 at the moment. Tajeros is there, Arias, Restrepo, Idzik, Loxley, Bago, all in the mix. 10 riders in the leading group at last count in Category 6. So interesting racing. There we go. We're now in with Category 6 on the right-hand side of your screen there at the 28.2 kilometre marker. Category 5 at the 26.8 kilometre marker. Jessica Hamilton in that green skin suit is on the back of that Category 6 pack. Al-Mansouri is there. Navarez, Samuel, Charbois are all in the mix as well. Steady pace at the moment from them. Hamilton currently riding Zone 1.
Yeah, difference in speed is about 4 to 5 kilometres an hour between Category 5 leaders and the Category 6 leaders, which means they're going to pull that gap back very quickly. Just taking a quick run back to sprint number 2. So our first sprint was the Hidariot Bridge Sprint. The second sprint, the Hidariot Wonders Sprint. We talked about riders going in through there in a number of our categories, with Hamilton taking the win in category 6, taking the win in category 5. We'd seen Horner take the win in category 4. Category 3 have gone through there. Randy Gino overturning Hanna Pekakova's win at the previous time. So Gino in 1, Pekakova in 2, then Rama in 3, De Silva in 4, and Lamcong in 5. And that's leaving the overall sprints competition really between Gino and Pekakova at this stage, but Rama is not out of that either.
Well, I'll tell you something, there's also a massive sprint competition going on in category 4 at the moment, because Sabrina Horner has just taken the Octopus Loop sprint from Emily Sopers from Katie Adkins. Now, Horner has now gone into that green skin suit.
So they're on the left-hand side on the big screen at the moment. They've reached that third sprint. So we've still got a couple of teams to get through, a couple of categories 2 and 1 to go through the Wonders Sprint. The Octopus Loop Sprint, well, that has still got categories 3, 2 and 1 still to go through. And that is before we then make our way to the Hidariot Beach Sprint. So...
Sorry, I'm laughing. There are 20 riders in that category 4 pack at the 25-kilometre marker.
It's a huge group to sprint from. It does make life easier sprinting. Horner taking that win, as Emma said, from Sopers, from Atkins, Ellos and Latriglia. Now the riders in category 4 scoring points. In category 5 scoring points, it was Natalia Idzik who took away a top spot in the Octopus Loop Sprint from Skitko, Loxley, Al Asa and Tajeros. And in category 6 on that same Octopus Loop Sprint, it was Hadjuk from Hamilton. So Hamilton being bested. Unusual that, but just being beaten there by Hadjuk. So Hadjuk in 1, Hamilton in 2, Almasori in 3, Shalbar in 4, and Bremner in 5. That is on the third of the sprints. Category 4 now at the moment are between the sprints at the moment, and we're just going to see how they go on. Tanya Howeiler looking pretty focused there as always as we came in with her. Back in with category 2 here. We're coming into the sprint, and look at this, Bridget Walensky doing what Bridget Walensky does, sprinting from the back of the group, picking up the pace. She's using this on the way through. And it's interesting because these sprints are 200-meter sprints. She's coming onto the group pretty much as she hits the sprint, rather than on a 300-meter sprint, wait until they're into the sprint until she hits that group. So getting the timing right there, getting draft from the start of the group to the end of the sprint, from the start of the sprint to the end of the sprint with riders. Getting that timing superb.
And picking up the pace before she hits the sprint as well, and making sure she's on the momentum run. But can I just say, she doesn't take the sprint.
Okay.
Because
give us the top 5.
Gonzalez Rua takes the top spot this time, if I can put my teeth into my mouth. Bridget Walensky comes through in second. Anna Svardström, Carolina Leninin and Leonie Dijkstra are the top 5.
Wow. So interesting as they come through here. Walensky holding onto the green skin suit as the overall points leader as they've gone through the Hidariot Wonders Sprint at the halfway in the sprints points competition. Hidariot Bridge Sprint, Hidariot Wonders Sprint, the first 2, Octopus Loop, and then the Hidariot Beach Sprint. Sprints 3 and 4. Prizes for each of our segment wins, as well as for the overall. Now, just in with the riders in category 1 on the right hand side, now coming onto your big screen, and you can just see Kristen Korchinski just in that main bunch. It's Fua and Mayer at the moment on the front, and Fua just picking up the pace here on this little rise as you come off and away from the velodrome itself, and really starting to push on at the moment. So that is a very, very big push that's coming, and you can just see that little kick there. And
a big group of category 6 riders ahead.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the reasons is that you can get in. If you're going to push on when you're coming up to another group of riders. You can take the drops. normally when you're on the front attacking, you don't get any drafts.
Yeah.
Now you attack in your group, you come up on another group of riders, you're going to get that draft, you're going to get that assistance coming through. You can just see that what's going to green there for Kristen Kolczynski, because she came through that group. Maya Fua, Kolczynski, the leading three riders, with Holcroft sitting in fourth place.
Well, I'm just going to give a big shout out to Kristen Kolczynski because we're in with her at the moment in category 1. She did the White Face Hill climb yesterday, and bearing in mind she's in the USA, it's about 3 a.m. In the morning at the moment, so it's not really, probably even 12, 14 hours since she last raced. She set her fastest time ever on that course. She beat last year's time by 3 minutes, setting a new course record, a new Queen of the Mountains. And her time on the White Face Hill climb makes her the 4th fastest rider on Strava, whether that's a KOM or a QOM. It doesn't matter.
4th fastest rider
She has
ever.
the 4th fastest time on Strava
ever.
on that climb ever. And I can tell you something, because if you listened to the Virtual Velo podcast the other week, when we had Illy Gardner on, I just would love to be on the side of those climbs where Illy Gardner goes head to head with Kristen Kolczynski in the hill climbs in the USA later on this year. It is going to be epic.
It is indeed. Always great to see our riders in action and battling against each other in different environments. Will we see Nicole Mayer battling against Catherine Fua in Abu Dhabi at the World Championships? The rider there, the medalist in Fua, top of those two riders on your screen. Mayer in there. Both riders looking pretty confident. You can see Fua at the moment just hovering between zones 1 and 2 as she sits in this group. She'll be looking forward to those World Championships. Now, we have published some more details on the World Championships, and you can pick those up on the MyWhoosh site. The best way to find out, of course, is to stay in touch with social media at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook. Now, here we go, coming in to the Hidayat Wonder Sprint, the second of our sprints in category 1. The pace starts to pick up, and this is about holding position in the group. The kick coming on the front at the moment, and you can just see that pace is picking up, and it's Engstrom, I think, who is just going to lead them out in towards that sprint. Holcroft comes over the top. At 43 kilometers an hour, that's well below the top speed these riders will regularly achieve in the sprint. But the results are coming in now. Holcroft takes the fastest time there, but look at the watts and the watts per kilo. Holcroft with the fastest time in category 1, the slowest time overall, 6.7 watts per kilo. That's almost not a sprint, because we know that Maria Holcroft can kick much, much harder than that. The fastest time of all, Dorothy Gonzalez-Rowe in category 2. Not too shabby either from Randy Gino. She's only a fraction of a second behind. Category 3. All of our riders, though, they're interesting to see the pace they came through there, Emma.
Well, I can just tell you, Jennifer Gosslander has gone through in category 1 through the sprint a little bit further back than the group, and she's just set the fastest time.
And she actually went for the sprint that time and went through with the fastest time.
She has indeed. Now, can I give you a little bit of an update? You mentioned about heading over to the MyWhoosh socials for information on the announcement from MyWhoosh and the UCI this week about the 2025 UCI Cycling Esports World Championships, which take place on the 15th of November. Confirming that yet again, 40 finalists, 20 men and 20 women, like last year. Semi-finals will feature up to 150 men and 150 women. So the massive opportunities. Qualification process will begin shortly. There will be future announcements coming out. And it's really, really exciting. The format is out as well. You can head over and take a look. So please do head to the social media from MyWhoosh and you can find all the details there.
So those UCI Cycling Esports World Championships coming up, the finals in November. I think it's November the 15th, if I remember
Yes.
correctly. And do make sure you're going to be there. Really looking forward to that. Now, just going to dive back into our Sunday Race Club. Right-hand side of your screen, Musa Al-Mansouri here. Great tactics, 34K. Musa Al-Mansouri pushing on through and beyond the sprint. Thank you very much, Musa Al-Mansouri. And getting some sliding room here. 15 seconds. Not long ago, it was actually at about 19 seconds between her and the chasing riders. Bearing in mind that she's heading in towards that climb, and Al-Mansouri can climb.
She can.
She has given herself a great advantage going into that ascent in category 6.
There are 9 riders in that chase group behind Musa Al-Mansouri. So Al-Mansouri out in the lead, 9 chasing riders at 17 seconds in category 6. Category 5, category 4, they are not far behind at all. And you can see we've got the category 4 pack on that bottom left-hand corner of the screen at the moment. And at last count, there were 20 riders in that category 4 pack. In the category 2 pack, directly above them, 28 riders in that group last time we saw them. And category 1, well, they are still rolling strong. And they're coming up to the 20-kilometre mark.
So riders spread out and around the course here on Hidaria Island, the cycling facility based in the UAE in Abu Dhabi, one of many cycling facilities all provided for there within the UAE. It's a fantastic provision from the Leeward Desert Circuit. That's a 25-mile, 40-kilometre circuit out in the desert through to the main race routes and right the way through the island, which we're on now.
Yeah, and what I love, so category 2 at the moment, on the right-hand side of category 2, there's a big beach hedge.
Yep.
It is a big beach hedge in real life as well.
It is. And in fact, I saw them coming past the HQ of the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club earlier on, alongside the same beach hedge where we came sprinting in with a whole load of their training session kids. When we were out there we managed to squeeze an extra day on the end of the trip to Abu Dhabi.
It was fabulous.
And we went out. Yeah, we went out with the coach, with legendary coach Ivan Yuki. Went out with the riders in that coach group, and as well as getting some laps before that, and we went out with them. And actually, it's a big long sprint in, and this hedging is very, very good because it gives you a lot of shelter from the breeze as it blows across Hidaria Island. Will it work for the riders at the moment?
They don't need shelter from the breeze.
No, they don't really, and that's the first. In some ways, it's kind of a little bit wasted on these riders in that sense with such a big group. But having said that, it does change the scenery somewhat here on Hidaria Island. It is very, very faithful. If you do get the chance, do go out. Whether that is to Hidaria Island, whether it's to go and ride around the circuit, good to see one of the team from MyWhoosh going out and riding in the circuit on the Yas Marina circuit. Bart back on his bike, one of the key people in making those world championships happen. Now, as the riders just go through the Octopus Loop sprint here, you can see that big kick coming through. Svarström taking the points overall. Emma, the Octopus Loop sprint, though, in terms of the category 2, it looks like Dorothy Gonzalez-Ruiz is starting to wind up and get ready to go. She's got the fastest time, but not the maximum points so far.
No, but she has indeed taken that sprint there ahead of Anna Svarström. Though Svarström keeps the green skin suit on points because, of course, the top 5 sprinters in each of the categories awarded points 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 across each of the sprints, and it's the total combined points earned in the sprints that give that overall sprint competition.
Let's run you very, very quickly through the Octopus Loop sprint. Hanjuk, Hamilton, Al-Mansouri, Shalbar and Bremner coming through in ahead in category 6, category 5. As they go through the Octopus Loop sprint, it was Idzik, Skitko, Loxley, Al-Issa and Tajeros in category 4 on the Octopus Loop sprint. It was Horner, Sopers, Atkins, Ellison, Latriglia. Category 3 going through that Octopus, Luke Sprint, Gino from Pekakova, De Silva, Montgomery, and Ramett. In Category 2 going through, well, we've just seen them go through that sprint. Obviously, Gonzalez, Rua, Svarstrom, Leinen, Alejandro, and Dijkstra. But the riders starting to make their way in towards our final climb. In fact, the Hidaria Beach sprint, not all that far off. And I tell you something, there's some very interesting performances coming down now.
There are indeed. Now, Category 1, we've just been in with a very, very steady pace. They are back to Zone 1, managing their pace, rolling in towards the fast and furious finale. Category 4 are rolling into the Hidaria Beach sprint. We're back in with Rosa Herrera. She's part and parcel of this leading group in Category 4. The pack is stretching as they come in here. Herrera behind Holweiler, Johnson's behind her. The riders coming in, Barbara Bulwara is there as well as Tompkinson, and it's interesting to see what takes place as Herrera gets up and out of the saddle. She pushes on, the grimace on her face as she's digging in and going for this effort here. Rosa Herrera dialing it in the sprint here. She's coming up, she's coming through. Strong riding from Herrera. You can see the push there.
Horner came in through at incredible pace with Atkins and De Grazia there. Emily Sopers, though, taking the fastest time from Katie Atkins, Valentina Latriglia in third, Jennifer Ellos in fourth, and in fifth place, Rosa Herrera. So Herrera scoring 1 point there. And then the point scorers in Category 4 at the Hidaria Beach sprint. But it is going to go to Katie Atkins, the overall win in the sprints competition in Category 4.
Nice positioning, though, from Herrera. She's right at the front of the group. She's not going to close the gap and push back on. In fact, we've got one rider looking like they're going to be distancing that Category 4 pack from that sprint. Now, one rider who's distanced herself from the group is Musa Al-Mansouri in Category 6. Category 6 now on the final climb of the day, and Al-Mansouri pushed on early and gave herself some sliding room coming in. Dominique Charlebois is the rider on our screens at the moment who is closing the gap. The gap now, Al-Mansouri to Charlebois, 6 seconds. And it's a further 12 seconds back to the 8-rider group behind. And you can see them now on the top right-hand corner of the screen, scattered down the Hidaria Ascend climb. Al-Mansouri in 1, Charlebois in 2, Samuel, Narvaez, Agudelo, Sarasuk, Kirchner, all in the group behind. But the question is, can Musa Al-Mansouri stay clear of Dominique Charlebois? It's at 37.5 kilometers at the moment. The finish line is 3K to go.
And this ascent up here on this climb really starting to take its toll. You can see the elevated roadway weaving its way through these hairpin turns. Charlebois closing on Al-Mansouri on the right-hand side, left-hand side of your screen. Fua and Guerra up at the front of this group of riders as they come in towards the Octopus Loop sprint. So our riders going into that third sprint in Category 1. We're in with Catherine Fua at the moment. The fastest time overall being held by Randy Gino from Hannah Pekakova, then Sabrina Horn and Dorothy Gonzalez-Ruhr. The top 4 riders in terms of time at the moment across 3 different race categories, categories 3, 4, and 2. Will Category 1 go through with a faster time? Well, we're going to see those prizes are per category. For sitting in this group, making sure that she's in contention. She's not going to lose the wheels as they come down at this section here. They come squeezing down alongside the coastline here, and with the beach hedge actually separating them from the coast side. They go through. That time 17.5 seconds by Amelia Van Hove is not a sprint. That is rolling through with the group, and that does leave the window open for Jennifer Gothlander, who's behind, to come through and to sprint for the sprint segment, and that will mean that she's going to have a great payday on the way through. And
she has just done exactly that.
Fantastic. She's not that far behind them.
No, she's not. She's actually not that far behind the pack, and she has actually just gone through with Watts per kilo of 11.3, setting the 15th fastest time overall. She doesn't need to push on too far. She just needs to secure the win.
And she's doing that solo as well.
She is
That's the thing
indeed.
we've got to remember is that time is being set pretty much solo rather than in a group. Now, changes at the very front of the races. Dominique Charlois goes over the top of Musa Al-Mansouri. These two riders nearly 15 seconds, quarter of a minute clear as they come in to this right-hand turn here. And Al-Mansouri picks up the pace once again, but Charlois has climbed up into the wheels of Al-Mansouri. And Al-Mansouri has to be careful here that she holds the pace and she holds the draft. They're still traveling at 14, 15 kilometers an hour as a minimum at the moment. And I tell you something, there's still draft available, particularly when it levels off
It's a
and that
multiple
pace
step.
picks up.
Yeah, multiple step climbs. 9 steps on this climb. And at the moment, you can see 0% gradient where they are. This is completely flat, this section, allowing Al-Mansouri. In fact, Al-Mansouri's just dug in deep right now because the gradient has gone and she's tried to kick back onto the wheel of Charlois. She's not made it, but she's about to have another go. She's continuing to drive, but Charlois now really strong.
Now, just taking a look a little bit further down through the race, we're just in with Julia Walkenhurst at the moment. She's in category 2, and she's just seen Francesca Tomasi on the move. Tomasi clearly getting itchy feet, deciding to take a little bit of a run off the front here. So good to see Tomasi attacking Walkenhurst. Les Tomasi goes past, holding that pace at the moment in category 2.
Well, category 1, Francesca Tomasi, as Matt rightly predicted, she's 10 kilometres out. Well, he didn't predict the right place, but he predicted the right person. She's 10 kilometres out from the base of the climb, and out she goes from the pack.
I think you got two predictions rolled into one, where they were going to go and who was going to be aggressive in which particular race category.
Now
but I'll take both wins if that's two.
Just take it. Just take it. But at the moment, Charlois and Al-Mansouri are battling royale at the front of this category 6 race on this climb. It's push, recover as these two riders battle for the win. They're at 39.1 kilometers. They've got 1.4k to go. This is getting closer for these two as the finish line, well, it is not that far away.
It's not at all. And I'm just watching the difference between these two riders. Who's pushing where? Charlois goes on the steeper gradients and takes the race lead. Al-Mansouri is battling back and then counter-attacking almost immediately once she gets back on board so that she's not dragging, not giving that draft advantage to Charlois. But at the moment, it's Charlois who's in the race lead. Musa Al-Mansouri's had one win on the Sunday Race Club so far. Dominique Charlois, she has been a top 5 rider. She's 4th or 5th place on 5 occasions, but she's never broken the top 3 so far. So today's going to be a good day. Now, the finish of this race is really quite tricky. You go around a slight right, and then we do a loop round one of these pillars.
Yeah, we do.
You can see it coming up here. It's a full horseshoe turn.
It's a lot longer. You see the finish line, but it's a lot further away than you think.
It is, and it's out on the right-hand turn exit as you come out. Now, Charlois Al-Mansouri lines up. She's at 2.5 watts per kilo. Now 3. Can she answer Charlois? The problem that she's got is Charlois is on the front of this race, opening it up. That's category 5, right-hand side of your screen, coming in towards the finish, left-hand side of your screen, category 5. Loxley and Restrepo at the moment have near 10-second gap to Tejeros, to Arias, to Alray, and behind that group is breaking as well. On this climb, this final climb, which is the Hadari Ascent climb, the only categorized climb, we are seeing the race action unfold as Charlois at the moment comes up towards the top here. She's not got far to go. She's got to keep holding on. She's going to take away the fastest climb segment prize because she goes through there ahead of Al-Mansouri. She started that climb about 15 seconds down, but now she needs to refocus and look at getting up around these turns, around the bend and up into the finish. 39.9k covered. 40.5k is the total distance, so 600 meters to go.
Yeah, that polka dot banner comes 700 meters from the finish, and it comes on a flat section, and you can see that on the top right-hand corner of your screen, the flat section is about to give way. The riders are about to start climbing. This final 500 meters is all uphill.
So here we go. The push comes from Shelbar, 5 watts per kilo on the kick there, answered by Al-Mansouri, who also rolls in with some of that draft at 25 kilometers an hour. Al-Mansouri goes up onto the front though, and she's holding position. Shelbar with that polka dot skin suit sits in second wheel as Al-Mansouri keeps pushing and kicking. Has she got anything left? She went early. Shelbar closed the gap down, and now she closes the gap once again, goes over the shoulder of Al-Mansouri. The distance is ticking down. We are on 250 meters to go and closing. And at the moment, this left-hand turn is coming. We are going to work our way around here. And the finish itself, the race finish rather than the segment finish, is halfway around one of these pillars. And that means it's very difficult to see where that finish line is. Al-Mansouri pushes. Shelbar comes against her. Shelbar keeps on attacking. Al-Mansouri keeps on answering it. This is blow by blow. They are landing them one after the other. And at the moment, there are no submissions from either rider. They're coming into this turn. They're going to need to get the timing right here because they're not going to see this finish line until it's on them. Shelbar versus Al-Mansouri. Shelbar in the polka dot skin suit in the lead. Al-Mansouri in second wheel now. Who's going to wind up first? Al-Mansouri kicks at 5 watts per kilo. Shelbar goes at 6, now 8. She's kicking on. This is going to come down to the throw to the line. I think Shelbar takes the win there. She does. Dominique Shelbar gets her first podium, and it's a win here today on the June qualifier, race number 2 on MyWhoosh.
Can I just say, absolutely brilliant racing from both of those riders. They dug deep, deep, deep to take that to the line, and Shelbar just taking it from Al-Mansouri by 0.1 of a second. Well, 200 meters before the line, this is category 5, and Amy Loxley is pulling away from Isabel Restrepo. Ella Vink is coming from behind.
So you can see Loxley at the moment with that polka dot skiing suit, again, taking the fastest climb time. Will it pay off for her? She's got a bit more of a gap to Restrepo than we saw between Shelbar and Al-Mansouri as they came up here. That winning time very, very close indeed. But Amy Loxley here in category 5, holding at the moment. Can she hold it to the line? She is. Underneath the banner she goes. It is indeed a race win for Amy Loxley, who adds the yellow jersey to a polka dot skin suit as while she goes through just ahead of Isabel Restrepo. Now,
wow, take a look at this. This is category 4.
Category 4 on the way up.
Absolutely dialing it up this climb, and I tell you something, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 riders neck and neck in category 4. They're at the 39.3 kilometre marker. They've got 500 metres till the polka dot banner, 1.2k to the finish. This is going to be a cracking race.
It is. We'll have to see who's going to kick on here. They're just about to catch some of our category 5 riders. Now let's give you a very quick roundup of our category 6. It was Shelbar from Al-Mansouri that we saw, then Sarasu in third, Nares in fourth, and Agadello in fifth. Category 5.
Well, category 5 was Amy Loxley from Isabel Restrepo, Ella Vink in 3, Annalyn Tejeros in 4, and Angie Christina Gavaria Areas in 5.
Okay, so those are categories 6 and 5. Categories 4 and 3 on your screen. Category 4 on the left-hand side of your screen. Category 3 on the right-hand side of your screen. So category 4 at the moment pushing on 39.6k cover. Remember, this race finishes at 40.5 kilometers, and it shows you how much category 5 were pushing with that gap that they've got on category 4 here, Emma.
Yep, absolutely. In this category 4 pack, as we said, 9 riders in this category 4 pack: Bulwara, Barragan, Sopers, Holweiler, Johnson, Taylor, all in the mix here as they go underneath the polka dot banner, signifying the end of the climb. Kindberger, Soper, Bulwara, Horner, Holweiler, Barragan, Goodall, and Johnson. Those are the first 8 riders in the mix here going underneath that banner. Miriam Taylor is number 9. This is the race for the win now, and it's Patty Kindberger on the front of the pack.
So just watching these riders come up and through. Kindberger with that polka dot skin suit as the winner of that segment, but now they're on that run across. They've got to try and get to the next big pillar that comes up and through. They're going to work their way around. They don't hug this one in a full turn. It's just a 90-degree left-hand turn. It's the pillar after this one that they need to get to, and that is why we see that big, tight left-hand turn. Johnson at the moment pushing on here. Miriam Taylor holding position. Taylor's been up there in the sprints as well. While Horner, the rider who we've been seeing sprinting very strongly in there, Goodall's there, Bulwara in there, Tanya Howala, who we saw on our screens earlier on, looking focused clearly on a good day here today as well, right up in the mix. Category 4, big group still as we see Keinberger starting to push on the front at 6 watts per kilo. The response needs to come, and it needs to come quick, because Howeiler has managed to make the move across on to the wheels here with Goodall. They've come up onto the wheels of Keinberger. This is a run for the line. Is Keinberger going to take it? She does. Keinberger takes the win from Howeiler in second, Goodall in third. I think it was Horner in fourth position. We're just going to get those confirmed. Emma, have you got the top results in category 4?
Yeah, so it is indeed Paddy Keinberger taking the win from Tanya Hollweiler, Hannah Goodall in 3, Sabrina Horner in 4, Miriam Taylor in 5. Can I say that finish line comes so fast? The riders really got to be prepared.
Yep. Foreknowledge is very, very important on this course for the riders. I would suggest if you are a new rider going out onto any of these courses and you've not ridden them before, jump onto the MyWhoosh YouTube channel and make sure that you watch back the race finishes as an absolute minimum on each of the courses. Really, really key. Now, here we go. This is category 3. They're absolutely rocketing up here. Who's going to take away the polka dot skin suit? I think it's going to be Anna-Marie Lepp, who should be taking away the polka dot skin suit, but it looks like it's Bergin. So Bergin with the climbing legs on at the moment, refresh from that holiday, who takes away the climbing prize. She must have come from the very back of that group right up to take the prize out. Now it's all about the run for the line here. Bergin in that skin suit, the polka dot skin suit, as the climb segment winner, as the climb overall winner, and now looking to take on the riders at the front. Montgomery on a wheel, Stephanie Briggs in here, Lip still leading them out at the moment, but this group is coming up onto Lip's wheel very quickly. 28 kilometers an hour at the moment. They're traveling 26 as that gradient starts to bite. This is absolutely key. Get in the draft, use the draft, and then make sure you kick at the right time. So round that left-hand pillar, the next pillar that they see, the finish line is tucked out of sight behind it.
Well, Kate McLeod is on the front. Anne-Marie Lipp is there as well. Eva Essler, Heather Shanks, Stephanie Briggs, all in the mix. Angelica Altamarino, Emily Nyquist, all there. Now the pace is on because this is about to finish.
This is the run. Here we go. It's just around the turn. Who's going to kick first? Because the first to kick is likely to take this. And it looks like Lip has gone early here. Has she got enough to hold on? She's got 8 watts per kilo. It's going to be Anna-Marie Lip who takes away the win from Kate McLeod, who goes to just ahead of Angelica Altamarino. Behind then, Stephanie Briggs, the sprint winner, comes through, taking 4th place. Emily Nyquist taking 5th. Shanks, who we saw earlier, taking 6th. Vasquez in 7th. Bergin taking 8th. Essler in 9th, and Kasani in 10th. And I mean, that is a huge group, because I think that's 13 riders already over the line.
It is. So
not as big as this group.
Well, we did say category 3 would be a big group. 13 riders, 10 seconds. In fact, the top 9 riders within 4 seconds of each other. It was absolutely fabulous racing, and Anna-Marie Lipp taking the win by 0.7 of a second from Kate McLeod and Angelica Altamarino, who must have been glued to McLeod's wheels.
So here we go, the run in. Altamarino coming over the top so fast, actually overtaking, but just after the line. Will we see such a close finish in category 2? Well, at the moment, they're just at the base of the climb. They've just gone through the polka dot banner, heading up to the up and onto the climb. Category 1 a little bit further back. They're still making their way to the base of the climb.
Well, what have we learnt so far? We've had 4 race finishes, category 3, category 4, category 5, and category 6. I would say the overarching message is timing, 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 because it's that race finish is literally on you before you even realise.
Well, I think it's you need the four key skills so far.
Oh,
4 key skills. Draft, so that you go in fresh onto the climb. Climbing ability to stay with those kicks on the ascents, and then to kick into the finish, which is still uphill. Then knowledge of where the finish line is, which I don't think all our riders are aware of necessarily, because there's been some bad timing, which is number 4.
Well, it's also only been the third time we've raced on here. And we do have new riders in the pack, and we'll have riders who weren't here on the 3rd of March and who weren't here on the first qualifier in April either. It's always interesting. And I do think the finish on here and the placement of the finish is part and parcel of the excitement of this race.
It is. I wouldn't want that excitement if I was racing. I'd be making sure I knew where that finish line was by watching as many of the previous race finishes that you can, so that you get it dialed in your subconscious, so it's instinctive on the way through.
And you can do that. You don't actually need to go out and ride. You can go on to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel and find the routes that have been raced before. The broadcast will be there. You can watch the finishes and see exactly where it is without having to ride it yourself.
Well, very interesting. Just taking a little bit of a look at the screen at the moment. Nicole Mayer has got a touch of the Tomasis at the moment. Going,
touch of the Tomasis.
Well, yeah, she's clearly got itchy feet again. Just starting to push a little bit harder here. 35 kilometers underneath the wheels, 400 meters off the start of the climb. Just getting a little bit of run into this climb with a little bit of a gap. 4 seconds. Category 1 about to approach the climb. You can see the polka dot banner in front. You can see those towers looming in front, almost like palm trees, but made to support our roadway here as they come in. And at the moment, it's Mayer leading 5 seconds. The gap, Korchinski, Van Heulen, Brook, Engstrom, Holcroft, Soderstrom are all in here. For me, in category 1, it's not a question of when will this kick come. It will be about who is going to go first, because I think this is the sort of climb which is a climb where if you attack early, you've got a good chance of staying clear on the climb because it's so fractured.
Well, the entire pack, other than 2 riders from the Category 1 race field who left at the start pen 35.6 kilometres ago, are all in this group. Tiffany Penner and Jennifer Gothland are the only 2 riders not in that leading group.
Now just taking a run back in with Camilla Salgado out of the saddle here, making her way up in around the 10. I think not very far from our race finish at the moment. Great to see some of our riders who are not contesting the race win out on the course as well. You've got to remember, there's a lot of riders racing on the Sunday Race Club. Not everybody can be in those top positions, and the whole of the community is really, really important to us here at MyWhoosh and to us on the commentary team. So even if you're not the rider in contention for the win that week, do get in touch. Get your camera on the screen. We love to see the effort that our riders are making. We love to see these performances and these personal achievements.
Well, and it's also about races within races. You know, it's like you say, it's not just about who comes first, second, third, and fourth. It's also about, racing yourself, getting better, getting stronger, as Camilla Salgado comes underneath that UCI banner and crosses the line with a huge smile on her face.
Well done.
Absolutely brilliant. Really, really good racing. There are races within races. You know, you've got your own group. You know, oh, I beat X this week, then they beat me the next week, and I'm stronger on the climb, she's stronger on the sprints. And it's all those sorts of things. And it's that community that is also developing amongst our riders around the world. There are many more reasons to join the Sunday Race Club than just to win your category.
Indeed, and I think that's the great thing, isn't it? I mean, it's every rider gets a placing, every rider gets a position. You know who you're battling, and you know that you're beating somebody one week, they're beating you the next week. Those little battles develop. They all push you to be a stronger, faster rider, to get those better performances out of yourself. When you hit a big group like this, when you're right in the mix, then you've got a lot of people to keep an eye on, and there's a lot of people in the battle. Category 2 particularly, always close, and still a huge bunch at this stage. We are at 38.8k in Category 2, and that has not fractured. In Category 1, we are starting to see Guerra push on the front of this group, but she has not broken this group apart yet, and she would be my tip to be aggressive, but will she go too early? Is she saving saving the energy for a little bit later on, or maybe where we see those steeper gradients. At the moment, 35, 36 kilometers an hour being traveled in category 1, nearly 40 kilometers an hour in category 2. The draft effect really, really key here, making sure that you stay with this bunch critical until the point where you can start to break that down. We are coming into these steeper sections, coming towards the end of the race here in category 2. 39.2k covered of this 40.5-kilometer course. It's still a big group.
It is. It was 28 riders at last count in the sprint. We've lost one or two riders in the early stages of the climb, but that still puts, I reckon, at least 25 riders still in this group. And you can see the big pack of green jerseys as they start to head up the climb. They're starting to get towards the top of it. They're at 39.5 kilometers. They've got 1 kilometer to go, 1,000 meters to decide that category 2 race. Gorea, Kalman, Kuma, Kolkowitz all on the front as we go in with Joanna Kalman. She took the win here. Qualifier 1 in April. Can she do the double? Well, she's got around 24 riders on her shoulder who want that top spot as well.
And there is, of course, the segment prize coming up as well, and the overall climb jersey at stake. That banner is just around this right-hand turn here. You can see the riders coming up to it, and then we continue up towards the summit through. They go at 35 kilometers an hour, and it looks like Jenny Eck is going to have the fastest climb time. The focus now on the run for the finishing line. That banner not far away now. We are currently moving at 45 kilometers an hour. I've got 40k covered. They're going faster on the climb than they were on the flat. That is the pace and pressure that is being applied to this race, and it's Gorea and Kuma with Kalman, Kokolowitz, with Kittel, with Hakkinen and Eck, all at the front of this big group. Kalman kicks at 6 watts per kilo. She's out of the saddle here. She's really working hard. This is an early kick, but has she got the timing right? She's going to come around this left-hand turn. She must be confident that she can keep this pressure on. It's starting to distance some of the riders in this leading pack, but the pack come over the top, and now she'll get the draft advantage. Numbers go to green. She sits down. She needs to take a deep breath and get ready to kick again. Left, right, and then the tight left to the finish line. Here we go. This is the sprint unfolding. Kuma starting to unwind here. So is Kilko. Kolowitz is coming, as is Van der Vliet. Van der Vliet is over 7 watts per kilo, but Pia Kuma kicked first. She kicked fastest. She goes over the line in first place with Bridget Kittel in second, Dana Wagner in third, Van der Vliet in fourth, and I think Denton in 5th place. Subject to confirmation, we'll get a double check on those positions.
Wow, Emma? 9 riders inside 2 seconds. What a finish in category 2. Pia Kuma takes the win from Bridget Kittel. Dana Wagner in 3, Rianne Denton in 4th, Femke van der Vliet in 5, Manshandi in 6, Kolkwitz 7, Hakkinen 8, Kalman 9, Yaramillo in 10th. 2.4 seconds separating the top 10 riders.
Roach, Hogg, Egg, Gorea, Karamani, Field, Lethbridge, Valensky, Leinonen, London, Mob, Svartstrom, Prado, all in 23 riders over the line in category 2 already. Shows you just how strong that draft effect is on this climb and how important it is to get your timing right to perfection. A real mix of skills required now in with category 1 as they approach the 39.3 marker. Going to come around to this left hand, it's a long sweeping left heading up towards the next tower as they continue to kick on here. At the moment, this group really hasn't been diminished by very many riders at all, if any. Tomasi still in here. She was stretching her legs earlier on. We saw her starting to kick. We saw Mayer doing exactly the same. They're still both in contention with this group. At the moment, though, all the contenders that we'd expect to be fighting for the overall are in here as well. Holcroft and Guerra in here. Lisa Hermansen in here. It could be Hermansen's day because she's got that sort of kick, that repeatable kick time and time again that she can go.
This is a perfect course for her, but Catherine Fuhr is the rider driving on. Gabby Guerra is about to close the gap down, and Merle Bruni is there. Kristen Kolczynski, Maria Holdcroft, Camilla Ahlberg, Mika Soderstrom, Marlene Bjarhead as they go underneath the polka dot banner. The skin suit goes to Catherine Fuhr. She set the fastest time on the climb. Bruni's on her wheel. Guerra, Kolczynski and Holdcroft. It's all now about this final 600 metres, and they're side by side. Guerra has kicked at 10 watts per kilo. Is this going to be Guerra's today?
10 watts per kilo from Guerra, that initial kick. She's holding it, and now she's gone up again. 11.5 watts per kilo. Kolchinsky's trying to answer this. So is Holcroft. But this is a long kick to the line. Guerra's gone hard. You can see a third from the left-hand side. You Giovanni, Tomasi, Guerra, and Fua on your screens. Gabby Guerra is leading them up here. This is going to feel a long, long way. Fua is coming behind. She's actually holding the polka dot skin suit as the fastest rider through the climb segment itself. Bruni is coming as well. We've not heard much or seen much of Bruni, but has she done enough to challenge? The gap is too big, surely. Gabby Guerra comes in. She comes round the turn. It's going to be Gabby Guerra taking the race victory here on qualifier number 2 in June on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Behind, it's a sprint for the line, and it's going to be Fua who takes it just ahead of Holcroft and Bruni. That is riders in 2 and 3, and I think Holcroft there making a way in through the line, gets inside the top 3 for a podium. Bruni immediately behind Soderstrom, Kolchinsky, Tomasi, Hermansen go through. I think Alberg inside that top 10, just getting those results updated. Emma, bring us those results.
Well, Gabby Guerra taking the win today, 64 minutes 30 seconds. Catherine Fua 2.9 seconds back, leading the charge behind for second. Maria Holcroft in 3, Merle Bruni in 4, Mika Soderstrom in 5. Kristen Kolchinsky takes 6th place today ahead of Camilla Alberg in 7th. Francesca Tomasi takes 8th. Lisa Hermansen takes 9th. Marlene Bjarhead takes 10th. Fabulous racing. Lizzie Brooke takes 11th. Elise Gallegos takes 12th. Nicole Mayer takes 13th. Liz Van Hooling 14th. Sophie Giovanni 15th. Amelia Van Hove 16th. Cornelia Engstrom in 17th. Less than 1 minute separating the top 17 riders in that Category 1 race.
One electric race here today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club in our women's race, the first of our 2 shows here today. We're going to be back very shortly with that men's race that follows on. Another fantastic course, and it's another course with a sting in the tail at the end of the course. So will we see those same tactics and the same type of racing play out when we go over to the men's race? Do make sure that you subscribe to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Tick that button and be notified every time the racing goes live. Follow MyWhoosh on social media. It's at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook. You can follow me, Matt Payne, at Matt Fixer, and you follow Emma at biking_Emma. We are going to take a short break before we come back for that men's race. I hope you've enjoyed the racing. Time to refuel, refresh, rehydrate, and get ready for part 2 of Qualifier 2 in June. But from me and from Emma, we'll see you again very shortly.
Goodbye.
So hello and welcome back. If you were watching earlier, and welcome. If you weren't watching earlier, you'll need to go back and have a watch.
You should
It
do. You
was
should do. You should do.
stunning. I'm in the studio. My name's Matt Payne with Emma Martin. You can see where to follow us on your screens right now, and you can always give that a little rewind. If you want to give us a follow, please do. It does help us. And of course, get in touch. We'd love to hear what you've been up to, whether you're watching, riding, looking at maybe having a go on the Sunday Race
come
Club
and join
as well.
us.
Do indeed come and join us. Make sure you follow at MyWhoosh on social media, on Instagram and Facebook as well. You could be riding here in Colombia. It is a route that is possible to go out and ride all the different parts of this, whether you're on the Coffee Trail or on the Alto Paso climb or the Alto de Aguila, which is the place to go to get to the Alto Paso climb.
It is indeed 50.3 kilometres of racing for the men today, 492 metres of climbing, of which 325 is on the final climb of the day. That final climb, 4.9 kilometres, average gradient 6%. But they've got to do 44.9k till they get there. 4 sprints along the way, all of those at 200 metres, and lots of little Colombian lumps and bumps along the way. And if you have ridden in Colombia, it's one of my favourite places to ride because of those lumps and bumps and the bridges, the short, sharp pushes, the short, sharp attacks that will leave the pack spread down the road.
Have you ever ridden in Colombia, really?
I have. Look, not actually real Colombia.
In person?
As in, not as in
person
to South America.
Flown
to South America.
Yeah.
But I have indeed many times ridden in Colombia on MyWhoosh.
Yes, you're in the same boat as me, or the same non-boat or non-aeroplane as me, as doing it virtually. It's one of the wonderful things that you can get out and ride this. Obviously, my favourite part of this entire course is the long section to the 44.9 kilometre marker. Emma's is the bit that comes after.
I know, I like the bridges in Colombia.
I do like the bridge. I like them when you're riding on them as well, because they just give you that little bit of a break. And today it is all about the draft. It's all about hiding out of the way, being super smart with your energy and your energy expenditure when you attack, looking to make those attacks count, whether that is hurting the legs or breaking clear. Now, as with our women's race, 6 race starts. The prize is identical from the men's to the women's competition. If you weren't with us earlier, I do need to say an Eid al-Adha Mubarak. So happy Eid to you if you are celebrating that, because of course it is a year with more Eid than there is in a normal year. It's true, more. Anyway, shall we move across to Category 6? Let's do that. Category 6, they're going to be celebrating today, or some of them will. Will it be the BMC 6 team, Sensing McMurtry, Llewellyn and Verbeest, or the Cycling District 6 team? Sabrino, Salmon and Barroso rating for them. The level Carbon and Level Racing teams, they've got Fiedler and Rooney respectively. We've got Spinergy team, Winfield, Emmanuel and Truba, Team Velos Chile 6 actually racing as well with Javier Bertan. The Wheelies Racing team and the ZTBR team, 2 teams definitely to mention. Bianchi, Nielsen and Sebza for the Wheelies Racing team, and the ZTBR cycling team, Kobani, Dotto, Silva, Fabra and Vaz, the first riders in the men's race, in the qualifier race number 2. It's time to go racing here in Colombia. They go underneath the celebratory arch that starts our racing here today and head out on to the course. They'll take this right-hand turn before they hit the main road proper. A big race field here today, Emma. The Wheelies Racing team and the ZTBRE cycling team, 2 of our great team riders. I'm hoping they're going to put some team tactics down today versus maybe those individuals that have been really up there performing.
Well, Osmar Vass is the rider we are in with at the moment, part and parcel of that ZTBR e-cycling squad. He's right on the front of the pack with Sebsa, Fawcett and Baz. The 3 of them are really pushing on at the moment. Verbeest and Rooney are the riders chasing hard, but there is Osmar Vass on our screens at the moment. You can see the rider and the avatar side by side, and clocking the ZTBR cap as well.
And jersey,
nicely done. Look at the, I like the jersey. Oh, I could go one of those. Maybe I should join the ZTBR e-cycling squad if they'd have me.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting jersey, isn't it?
It's
I'm gonna
fabulous.
get lost in the jersey. We're gonna go down a little rabbit warren of
I'm
jerseys here.
wondering if that is hand drawn and hand designed
Mon-
before it's created.
Monochromatic
It's
with just
fabulous.
coloured letters.
Love it.
I'm not. I like things that are more maybe multicolour.
Do you?
I'm
Oh,
into
no, no.
blue at the moment in cycling kit. Randomly, there you
Each to
go.
their own.
Total random fact. Now, in with Wojciech Sebsa, one of our regular riders on the Sunday Race Club there in the UAE kit. Do give him a follow on social media. Really, really interesting. It's great to see him in action and to get an idea of him behind the scenes. One of
Yeah.
the riders who does get in touch with us on a regular basis. Don't forget, you can always tag us into the stories or into your feeds as well as Wojciech Sebsa does. Great to hear from him. And I'm loving the jersey as well, UAE Emirates jersey there. Of course, as he writes it, is one of his I wouldn't say trademarks, but it's something he's certainly well known for, is that love of the UAE team. Now, whilst I'm quickly speaking of the UAE team, I'm going to get this out of the way. If you did not watch the Giro and the action, I did say, and I've been saying for weeks, it was going to be well worth watching. It was amazing, fantastic, probably one of the most exciting stages that I've seen in a stage race ever, in stage 20. And I've got to say congratulations to the team in racing. We're already on to different races in lots of different disciplines as well. And there's lots of mountain biking, road racing, trials, BMX, you name it, it's all coming up. And in racing, of course, the one thing that does continue week in, week out, every Sunday of the year, the Sunday Race Club Category 6 well underway here. Anybody in particular that's grabbed you in terms of the riders here today who are going to go well? We've got Simon Llewellyn on our screen.
We do indeed, and he took third place last week on Telmarie. Brett Sensing, his teammate in BMC6, took second. The Spinergy duo of Winfield and Demanuan took fourth and fifth, and Sebastian Wolf took the win last week. Number of riders could go really well. It was the 1st of April when we were here last in the men's race for this ride in Colombia. Back then, well, it was indeed, she says, just pulling up on my information, it was indeed Llewellyn who took the win. So Simon Llewellyn could be the rider to watch today.
I think he's definitely one to keep an eye on this course. I think his power and his speed is going to come to the fore. And with that climb at the end, I mean, it's shot 4.9k relatively for a Sunday Race Club. I think it is a pretty steady climb as well. And I think you can get into a rhythm and really push your way up there. But we will see. I'm glad you don't see the cameras that our production team are seeing of Emma's face being pulled as my description of that climb came up. Let's see what our Category 5 riders are going to make of that with the BMC 5 team here. Agudelo and Wakefield, the BMC Rule 5 team. That's Dawson and Tortoretto representing them. Cycling District represented across all of our race categories as always, with Murato, Louis Silva, who's DS in them. He's their man in charge, along with Pavelis and Cillian Sinas. We've also got Level Racing, Callingard and Kendall. We've got Level Up with Roy Peterson and Bertrand. We've got Team Chile with Tapia. And we've got the Upcycle squad, Dromard, Wang, Muktari and Mayard. And for me, the Upcycle team are definitely ones to watch today with Mohamed Muktari on storming form.
Well, Martin Wang is as well. He took 5th place last week. Mohamed Muktari took 3rd. This is Muktari's type of course, though, I think. Jean Yannicki took 4th place. Yussi Pukala took 2nd. Robin Clennon took the climb overall last week. In fact, you know, it was so close in Category 5 last week in the men's competition. 0.7 of a second separated the top 5.
It's absolutely incredible, isn't it? How fast and how close
That's
the racing
not
is.
even a tyre width.
Depends on the speed.
Well, that's very true. Everything depends on the speed, and it depends on the speed of the Category 5 riders as to who is going to win today when they get to the top of that climb. Lozzie is the rider we're in with at the moment. Taylor is there, Agudelo is there, Peterson is there, Luke Kendall is in the mix, and it is indeed Syed Lozzie that we are in with at the moment. I was going to say a period of calm, but it's Zone 3, Zone 4 rollout at the moment for Category 5.
It is. There's one or two riders on the front pushing, but if you don't panic and you can see just how calm Sad Lossie is here, looking cool, very cool, very calm, very collected, not pushing on here, giving us waving back to the cameras. You know, we do when we have the riders on, we should show our cameras
Matt
because
always
I
waves.
do always wave because it's
Oh,
great to see
that
them.
would be interesting, wouldn't it, if you saw the responses from us on your screen?
Yeah, because we usually have a big smile on our face. I'm going to put this out there now. If you are a rider and you are racing on Sunday Race Club, please put a camera in
Oh, yes,
and
please
send it
do.
to the team. Stream it to the broadcast team. We'd love to show the faces, the people behind the avatar, the
Don't
real person.
worry where your pain cave is, what your pain cave looks like. It's not about who has got the poshest pain cave. It is just about us watching your race.
It's not about the size of your TV screen. It's not about how big your fan is, how good your bike is. There's none of that. This is about you as a person. We love to focus on the person and what they are doing. How cool, calm, and collected are you looking, Rod Erasmus here? Looking very focused. Nice start there, just tapping out a really good rhythm. 109, 110 revs per minute. A
Yeah.
real high cadence here as the pace is hot on the front here. You can just see him just easing off as he's made his way in. There was a move, the squeeze on the front. He's got himself into position here and still holding that same position. Really interesting using the bike there with the tri bars on as well. So clearly a rider who is into doing time trials or triathlon using those aero bars to his advantage. Solo here in the pack, though, no real advantage to them. The bikes at the moment rolling the way through 1.9k covered in category 5. It's a great race field in category 5, as we have in all of our race categories, and the big race fields across all of our race categories, even though in June we have 5 Sunday race clubs, 4 qualifiers, and we normally see that resulting in just on average slightly lower numbers through each of the qualifying races. It's not seeming to translate maybe quite as much as we've seen before, and that just means the competition's even hotter. Mohammed Mukhtari is dealing with the heat, no problems at all. We see him improve, and we've talked about
Yeah.
Mohammed on a number of occasions about how he keeps improving and how he keeps on getting stronger on the way
Yep.
through. He's For me, he really sums up what the Sunday Race Club is all about. A rider who's coming out, he's out, he's racing, he gives it absolutely everything. You can see that on your screens when we see the rider in action, and he continues to improve.
He does indeed. And do you know what? I don't think it's long till he's going to progress to category 4. He really is getting better and better and putting in some great performances. And, that progression is a really great story to follow.
Well, let's see who is in category 4 already. We're in with the BMC racing team with Matteo Pino, a cycling district 4 squad. They're headed up by Maurencio. The inner fight squad, well, they've got 3 riders in here. They're the second biggest team with D'Souza, Bachansky and Kirchner. We've got Peak Power Racing of Van der Santa, Mason Rocker, representing them. Russ Mackie for Ride Club Finland. The Anzacs represented by James Robinson. But Level Racing, 4 riders in there. Brian White, Evans Fort, Luke Allport, and Nicholas Hagland. It's a bit of a celebrity superstar category 14.
Yeah, it is indeed. And you're quite right there. It is a real class group for level racing. Now, in a fight, Kirchner took 3rd, D'Souza took 4th last week. Can they be in the fight today? Well, Evans Fort is the rider we are in with as the pack go out of the start pen. Johan Moreno took 2nd last week. Carlos Arievo took 5th. I did say that 0.7 of a second separated the top 5 in category 5 last week. Well, I can tell you 2 seconds separated the top 11 in category 4. So my view is expect a bunch sprint here today. Well, we'll see about that, but it was going to be an interesting final climb. Let's just put it that way. Some really, really great riders in here. From Kiddle, Van Erck, Edwards, Braidley, Gonsolin, Stevenson, Dalmida, Pino is here, Vargas, Poldarin, just class riders in the mix. And there is Luke Allport. Allport known well for his aggressive style of racing, where he does like to dial it off the front of the pack and really remind people he's in the race.
He is. How can you forget, particularly when we have a verb named after Luke Allport, which is all porting.
Yeah, but can I just say,
To all port.
he all ported off the front of the Australian National Championships as well. Now, all credit to him for doing that, because I did love watching him do that. Doesn't matter the race, the level, doesn't matter whether it's a local ride, the Sunday Race Club, or the Australian National Championships, you can guarantee Luke Allport will give it large.
Dear Luke, please send us a message at Matt Fixer Pain on Instagram if you all port your way off the local club ride or the local ride or whenever you're riding outside. I would love to know. Do tell me. I'm not guilty of that much, honest. I did employ it actually on the local club run the other
Did
week.
you?
Yes, and got in trouble with the club president for doing it as well because I dropped him on the climb. I
Never,
went off the front and really upset the local club president.
never drop the club president when you're
No.
on a club run.
No, he gave me a truly Gallic stare.
Did he?
He did, yes.
Well, there we go.
Yes, he gave me a hard stare, as Paddington would say.
Well, at 1.4 kilometres into this race, the Category 4 pack are moving. You can see the stretch on the group already, and the pace is coming in. We're in with Bulgarian at the moment, and you can see the concentration on his face, making sure that pack are not going away, and he stays in contention. The stretch on the group, 42 kilometres an hour, 43 kilometres an hour. The pace is picking up. White is there. Amma is there. Bulgarian is in the mix, but it is still some way to the front. He's in contention. The pack is now coming back, and you can see that because the riders are now spreading across the road as the pace comes off the front.
So as that sort of wind effect takes effect here, the riders just slowing and coming across the road instead of being in that long line. At the moment, the riders making their way out onto a race route. The first real opportunity to score points and prizes is at that Santa Fe sprint at 11 kilometres. It's a 200-metre sprint, as are all the sprints today, all four of them. 200-metre sprint, so a short, sharp sprint positioning key on there, as well as being able to deliver the power. And I expect fully to see lots of riders just trying to make it a little bit harder today. There'll be a number of people who do not want to see this be an easy club ride and then a hard attack at the end. They will want to make it tough on the way through.
An easy club ride. This is the Sunday Race Club.
Oh,
Take a look who's on the front
excuse me.
here. It's Cy Bradley, just wanting to make sure everybody's woken up today, got their legs ready, and do you know what? It might look like a straightforward first 44.9 kilometres, but it's not going to be, because Bradley is on the front.
He is. Bradley and Rusimaki here, just winding it up. So let's see if this manages to stir the riders. A number of riders, of course, will go on the attack just to wake their legs up personally, rather than worry about what's happening with everybody else. We'll see what happens and whether anything comes of that attacking Category 4 a little bit later, because it's time to dial in our Category 3 teams. The Anzacs are represented by Patrick Bloom here today. Sirocco, well, they've got double the number of riders with Becker and Batty, as have What's Up with Montoya and Shure. A level Golden Squad, well, they have the most. They're above the Cycling District 3 team. The Cycling District team 3, a team of 4, is Oliveira and Drade with both Pierres, and that is Marcos and Pedro. The level Golden Squad, though, Andrew Rushmer, Christopher Morgan, Juan Filho, Oli Sola, and Rune Bakken in the mix here today. A couple of extra riders on the start sheets as well. Waterplace and Dylan Kennett taking to the race start here today. There's Category 3 head out on to a race route. Lots of riders to watch out for here, from Alami to Squilari, Kansara. I mean, you could read the list.
Well,
pretty
52 riders on that list. It's not quite the biggest race field of the day. Category 2 has that honour today, but it is a really strong race field. So Alex Heaney took the win last week. He's here. Matthias Kalman took second. He's here. David Goodall took fourth. Yep, he's here. And Nicholas Fournier took fifth. Yep, he's here. Matthias Van, he was also in the top 5 last week, but has been awarded with some progression. He's been having some phenomenal performances week in, week out, and getting stronger and stronger. So he moves up to Category 2, and that's going to be a really interesting move for Van here, I think, and a new challenge for him. But you are quite correct, Matt. You know, it was, the the race field, it has been so interesting to see how Category 3 have progressed. There's a large number of riders in here. Becker, Rushmer, Morgan, Piera, Cadiz, Tidholm, Elos, Staples, Oviedo could go well. Joseph Miller could go well on the course today. You could indeed pick a number here.
7.
You're going to pick 7.
You said pick a number.
7 riders are going to go well today. Okay, well, we'll see whether the 7 riders go in towards the finish together in Category 3.
Well, quite literally today, unless I'm literally taking Emma's words at face value, the riders, I think, are taking a relatively steady roll out here in Category 3. 34 kilometres an hour this group is rolling. You see that they are a big rolling ball, a big bunch. Even when they go onto this little bit of a riser here at 3.5%, it's not breaking the group apart. Meanwhile, at the very front of the race, Cameron Dasson and Brett McMurtry are about to head into the sprint here, 10.8k covered. The sprint starts at 11k. That's the green banner. The banners over the road, the archways over the road, reflecting the competition. So green for sprints and white with red polka dots on for the climbs competition. This is going to be the first opportunity to score some points in that sprint competition. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points available for first, second, third, fourth, and fifth fastest times, respectively. The fastest way to get a time and go from the back to the front of the bunch. The first rider over the line is not always the fastest. At the moment, Joel Warren is holding that skin suit, so it looks like he has got the fastest time. He went from the back of that group to the front and held that over the line. Warren taking top spot, taking 5 points. Mamba taking second place, taking 4 points. Fiedler taking third place and 3 points. Cadabona taking fourth and 2 points. And Barroso taking fifth and 1 point.
Well, 35 riders in that Category 6 pack. 1 or 2 of them just stretched off the back there after having come through the sprint and needing to close that down now. They're on the descent or coming up to the descent at the moment, and the pace is going to pick up. They really need to think about closing that down and closing that down quickly.
And they're going to go into a descent, and that bunch is going to have the draft advantage. It's going to accelerate as it goes into that descent. And that, for me, is one of the key things. And we talked about this on the women's race about anticipating the increase in pace as you come in and through a sprint. Even if you're not contesting that sprint, you have to be so aware that there will be a pickup in pace, that you could be in danger of being distanced, and it won't necessarily be you who loses the wheel. He says bitterly, having been dropped off many times by other people who did lose the wheel.
Well, currently at the moment, it's Christopher Morgan putting the pace in at the front here, and riders are in danger of losing his wheel. Nicholas Becker. Becker was really strong on this course last time out, actually. In fact, if I just take a little look, he was 4th overall. Last time out, it was Kansara, Stenman, Bakken, Becker, and Oya. Those were the top 5 in Category 3, and I think we will see those riders come to the fore because, you feel good on a course you go well on, or you have gone well on before. It just changes a little bit of the sort of psychological edge.
Courses that you've gone well on always are great. There was when I was road racing, there was the Notton road race circuit. It was always a circuit I went well on.
The Notton?
Yes, Notton it's in near Wakefield in Yorkshire, and it was a circuit with a climb that wove its way up. Not a huge climb, but it was enough to break the group. And because it was a short circuit, not Criterium Comess size, but it was a small circuit, this climb came time and time again. And when you went over the top, it leveled. It didn't continue in some horrible false flat. So you could really accelerate over the top. And for me, that was really, really a circuit that suited me. And whenever I went back there, I had good memories. And that, happy riders go a fast riders syndrome. That, for me, was a circuit I always went well on. But the opposite's true as well. I can think of the Batley road race circuit, which was a 2-mile circuit with a massive descent, and it was horrible. It's 3 corners, one of which, if you got it wrong, you went over a wall and into a farmer's field. And I went badly on that every time. And I think it was partly because I had a bad first time on there. And that memory of that course, it works both ways. So there'll be riders looking forward to this.
Never discount the psychological mind games that you often play with yourself when you're racing a bike. It's nobody else's influence other than what your head tells you.
I'm not sure my head was quite such a good place when I was racing at 18, 20, 25 as it is now. I probably control those nerves a little bit better these
We
days.
do well,
Stroke, I've got nothing left to prove because I've proved that I'm not that good. It has to be said. Let's see who is on form and who is that good.
I would like to say you've learned as you've got older, but maybe you're showing that you haven't.
No, probably not. So as we go through the Santa Fe sprint here, the first of our sprints for Category 5, you can see a massive kick coming off the front here as riders look to take away the first of those sprint segments. The first rider in over the line will be Patrick Mortek. Now, he has previously taken sprint jerseys, but will he hold it? And the answer is no. He hasn't got the fastest time through. It's going to be Clinton Dave Cirillo, the man who has got the fastest time through the sprint, ahead of there of Jonathan Cridland in second. Patrick Mortek taking third place in those 3 points, and it's Broadbent and Tapia rounding out the top 5. A very similar sprint times, in fact, and positions to Category 6. So Category 5 and 6 traveling at very similar speeds through that sprint segment. Now, Christopher Morgan on the attack. 2 wins to his name in the Sunday Race Club. He's had 4 second places as well as another top 5. So that's 7 top 5 results in 18 participations. So that is over a 33% strike rate. That's pretty good going.
Seriously good.
It is good going. Will he be able to do that again today? You mentioned Becker before as being a potential contender. For me, Nicol Cansara, this is a course I suspect he's going to go well on.
He took the win on this course last time out.
And I think this is his kind of territory.
It does suit him.
It suits him. He's got good memories, and I think we could see him up there. Will Morgan be able to deprive him of a win? We'll have to see.
Ooh.
Morgan's active early, and that's always a good sign that riders are up for the racing. Just testing everybody out, seeing how their legs are and how everybody else is.
Yeah, it is true, but the riders all pushing on at the moment, and Morgan definitely wanting to get this race animated.
Oh, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm not sure he wants to animate this. I think he's just checking his legs and just seeing. Because I think you know in your heart of hearts, you're not going to animate a race like this on a flat section at 5.8k when you've got to get to 45k before anything really kicks in.
I'm going to disagree with you because what I think is here is you take a look at the pack. The Category 3 pack are wide across the road. They're not responding. Suddenly, we now see a response. And it is indeed Ibrahim who is pushing on here and going over to Morgan Becker. And actually, I think that's what they're doing. They're testing the rest of the riders to see who is up for this and who actually, do you know what, is looked at the course and just went, I'm sitting in the pack and I'm going to stay in the pack and I'm going to let other people chase it down.
That's about knowledge. That's about testing. It's not about animating the racing. It's not about making the race happen. But we will see. We will see. I suspect one of us will be wrong, probably me, usually is, and one of us will be right. Let's see who's going to be our animators in Category 2. We have a lot of our usual suspects here in our teams. The Abu Dhabi race team, led by the legend, is Ivan Newkey. We've got Cycling District 2, Dan Coimbra and Clermont. We've got the Hitmen here today, Forset, Koistonen, and Nair, the UAE Falcons with Altanaji and Hamden. The Smarties have the most riders in one team with Bangston Theme, Betty, Ritter, and Walter. And of course, we have the UAE clan team here with Mr. X100, Pablo Popovic, and SS. SS will need to be his animatic self. Is that quite the right phrase? I'm not so sure. He would certainly need to animate this race early on, I think, if he's to take victory at the top of the climb. Category 2. Ready to hit the roads here in Colombia. The biggest race field, you said, Emma?
Yeah, indeed. 57 riders on the start sheets today in Category 2. It was Maciej Mendakowicz who took the win when we were here last time in Colombia in Category 2. But there are a number of riders hot on his heels. Anders Bengtsson should go well today. But last week, Paul Skierski took the win. He has now been rewarded with a Category 1 uplift. I am so looking forward to seeing Skierski in Category 1 today. That is going to be brilliant. Christoph Thiem took second. He is here. Trzynski is here as well. He took fourth, and Khan Kayan took fifth. Van Heer, as I said earlier, has come up. Guerra came up last week. Damsgaard as well. Bjorklund, Krasnich, Bjarhead, Haggerty. All in here. So's Godzari and Downey, Stenman, Danes, just keep going here. Gombe, Bjorklund, Krasnich, Kaplinski, all looking strong today. Other riders in here, Patrick Stepanak is here. Said Keradine is here. Tor Allenjung is here. It is a really huge, packed race field. 0.7 of a second separated Milur, Thiem, Skierski, and Trzynski last week in the sprint across the line. It could be another close one. But as we keep saying week on, week out, these categories now are getting so closely matched that it really is just driving competitive racing.
And I'm not going to give any spoilers away for the women's race. If people haven't watched that already, do give it a watch. Category 2 and all of our race categories, we see the sprints being incredibly close time-wise, week in, week out. Are we going to see another sprint? Because we've seen a number of sprints. Are we going to see we're going to see a sprint from category 2 when we get to the top of the climb? And if we do, will we have seen Mesic Mendekowicz, who we just saw on our screen, go off early, trying to make it hard early on the climb? Is it going to be a sprint, do you think?
Good question. I think there's a number of scenarios that could play out in category 2. I think we could see the pack split into 2 or even 3 large groups. 57 riders on the start sheet. So it's a big, big race field. And depending upon what happens, that 44.9 kilometres till they get to the base of the climb, pretty much, unless someone wants to take an easy day today and they're just after the qualification, I think they're going to be in the bunch for as long as possible, unless somebody has decided or got together with a number of other riders that they're going to drive really hard. If they are, we could see this split into 2 or 3 packs, as we have seen in category 2 before. But what we've also seen is category 2 drive hard from the front and just keep losing riders off the back, and hence the group does get smaller. Either one of those 2 scenarios, I think, will happen today on this long, long run. I don't think we're going to see a solo attack. I think we're going to see either the group just shrink through attrition, or we're going to see the group split into 2 or 3 groups on the road.
And if someone was to drill it on the front for a long, long way, like you said, there's 2 or 3 people or more got together, decided what they're going to do is drill it on the front. It puts the pressure on the riders behind to stay attentive and not let those gaps go, not let the wheel go, as what we said earlier. And that concentration for that period of time on the flat course, you can't relax for a moment, because there isn't anywhere where you can just really freewheel on the way down. You've just got that pressure.
Or you have to hold your nerve in the pack and just rely on somebody else to do the chasing for you. And you have to be able to hold your nerve and reserve that energy.
See who's got that fortitude.
Whoa, that's a good word.
It's Carlton Kirby word, his fortitude. Other commentators are available as well as Carlton
around
Kirby.
the world.
They are indeed, and Carlton, one of my favourite commentators when it comes to talking about race action. Now, be interested to see what he had to say about the fortitude of our riders in Category 1. The ABUS Esports squad, represented by Leonard Chugles. He rode it with plenty of fortitude. He is up against the Cycling District squad, Alvarado and Machado. In there, Marshall Wu in the HCNSVE squad. The Alpha Joe squad, they've got 4 riders, Chirut, Vajasin, Kamansky and Jones. The Boss Move only squad have 4, Osborne, Nuts and Vic and Safrazadi. But as the riders go to leave the pen, the Farm Watt squad have 5 riders on the start sheets, with Andreas and Pucker, Noran, Harris and Plantero making their move, heading out and away. And whilst they have strength in depth, I think they're going to have their work cut out against the Boss Moves only squad and the Alpha Jaw squad, because of for 2 quite different reasons in a lot of ways. The strength in depth of Alpha Jaw, but the talents of people like Fink, Nuts and Safrazadi and Osborne in
Well, I don't disagree with you. I was just trying to work out who the rider was who was waving to everybody on the start line. You see, you can be an elite esports rider and you can still be friendly. Give a wave to your competitors on the start line and then go right off the front. Well,
yeah.
Matt is right. for me, there's one big question today. This is the third time the riders this year have been in Colombia on the Alto do Aguila, this 50.3-kilometre race. Qualifier 4 in March, it was Michael Vink who took the win, 69 minutes 40 seconds. Qualifier 1 in April, it was Michael Vink who took the win, 70 minutes 32. My one question of the day today is, can anybody beat Michael Vink on this course? There are a lot of contenders in the mix for that today. We've got 35 riders on the start sheets in Category 1. It's a big Category 1 pack. It was Michael Vink who took the win last week. There he is on the screen in that UAE kit. Nicely just out of the saddle and underway now with the 1 kilometre marker. He took the win last week. Michael Knudsen, his teammate from the Boss Moves Only squad, took second place. Lionel Yassin from AlphaJaw took third. Jasper Paradians took fourth, and Leonard Tugels took fifth for the ABUS esports crew.
Now, as you can see in the background, we have our cameraman in there. This is Jeff Thoran. Jeff, I was talking to in between our two shows. He is the man who creates fantastic content on the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. Some of this content, I can't tell you when it's coming, mostly because he wouldn't tell me, because he knew I'd tell you, but it is going to be coming. There's some great content out there, and Jeff, one of those unseen people who are absolutely stars behind the camera, who make a lot of the content happen. So keep an eye out, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Michael Vink, of course, one of the real stars of esports.
And outriding with Jason Osborne, the world champion, this week in Spain. And I'll tell you something. I know that announcement from the UCI and MyWhoosh came out, but can you imagine Jason Osborne, Michael Vink, head-to-head at the World Championships in November? It's a possibility, but there are a lot of other possibilities in here as well today, and Michael Knudsen drilling it on the front at the moment, picking up the pace. A welcome return to Ewan Mackey. Great to have him back on the Sunday Race Club. Happy 2025. I don't think we've seen him yet, so welcome back. Johan Noren riding strongly as well recently, so really good to see him on the Sunday Race Club for that Farm Watt squad. Another rider returning after a week off, Hayden Pucker. Also, some really interesting social media feed from him. Ollie Jones, you can see there in the garage, and the rider from New Zealand in the pack. He was there in October at the last World Championships. I expect he's planning on being there again.
Yes, and I mean, it'd be interesting to see whether Ewan Mackey makes the selection and goes as well, gets himself in and through. You said it was we hadn't seen him this year. We haven't on the Sunday Race Club. In fact, his Sunday Race Club tends to be focused around the World Championships and around qualifying and the semi-finals and racing on those World Champs.
And I think what we really should say, you know, that announcement came out from the UCI and MyWhoosh this week about the date of the semi-finals as well and the format. Take a look at it. Jakob Bjorklund, I hope we are going to see him there trying to qualify for that World Championships, and I hope we are going to see all of you step up and have a go. 150 men's places, 150 women's places in those semi-finals. You know, that is a lot of riders enabling themselves with an attempt to have a go at that World Championships, 20 men, 20 women. It doesn't matter whether you are going to come 135th or 10th. Well, it does if you want to make the final.
Yeah,
but it gives you an opportunity to ride against the best in the world and learn about your ability and racecraft.
I think it's 30 riders going through in total from the women and 30 from the men this year, from the semis into the final. 20. Sure, right?
Yes, I am. 20. I have read the press release this morning.
Oh, good. I read it and read 30, but there you go.
Did you? Yeah, so what was wrong with those glasses?
Well, no, they probably weren't the ones I've got on at the moment, it has to be said. It was going to be really interesting to see who goes through, who makes it through into the finals. But the public qualifiers are such a really critical part of, and one of the really great things about cycling esports, and it almost mirrors what we're seeing now in things like the Gravel World Championships, where we're seeing a top percentage of the riders. I think you have to be top 20% in the gravel events and the Gravel World Cup and the qualifiers to go through to the finals. Will we see Giselle Betty racing? I'm sure we will. The Brazilian will be there. And of course, there are selections made by the national federations as well, but you can never bank on those. So get out there and race. And of course, we did see last year a lot of riders, whether they were going to be selected, even if, for example, Giselle Betty was selected by Brazil, you would see a lot of the riders racing the qualifiers to get experience of racing
Yeah.
on the qualifiers and racing the race route and the format.
And the announcement was that around 70% of the riders in those semi-finals would be selected by the national federations, and the remaining 30% of those riders would be through an open qualifications pathway, which has not been announced yet. So keep those eyes peeled for that announcement about the open qualification pathway for those World Championships. And I can guarantee you, last year, riders made the finals who got their place in the semi-finals from that open qualification pathway. It is possible to do.
It certainly is. We're going to be looking forward to seeing our riders competing and racing. You can see already the action here, although we're not seeing a decisive breakaway move at the moment in Category 1. The world's best riders already making their way to the fort here. Category 1 motoring the way along, 5 kilometres covered already. We're in with Seysaf Razedi, a man who's already got plenty of medals and trophies on his wall. I'm sure he would dearly love to have a World Championship medal or jersey. We do see him racing out and around on a regular basis on lots of the tours, but we will see how that plays out and whether or not he jumps on board. A man with lots and lots of different history in cycling, racing in tours and racing on the road and racing
And on
on
the
the
mountain
bike
bike.
and racing on esports.
Yeah, in fact,
regular.
I've seen him take a mountain bike stage race win in Sakarya in Turkey, which is the venue for the mountain bike XCE World Championships this year.
Indeed, and we're going to be covering that, or I think you may be covering that. I'm not sure whether
Later
I am
this
covering
month.
that later this month. We'll see. Now, one man who I think if we put him on a BMX would be absolutely flying, Stefan van Elst. Stefan, let me know. Have you ever ridden a BMX? Have you raced a BMX? I can find out. I will ask the guru of all things, the commentator who's going to be joining me for the BMX coverage, Rich Eames. He has a vast knowledge of all things BMX. He will tell me if Stefan van Elst has ever ridden BMX. There's such a wide variety of backgrounds for our
I know.
riders.
And
It's really
I love
incredible,
it.
isn't it?
I do. I absolutely love the background of our riders, whether they come from skiing, rowing, whether they come from skating, which is actually really aligns well with cycling esports, whether they have mountain bike backgrounds, road backgrounds, triathlon backgrounds, whatever their background, they are all coming together here on a cycling esports race.
And talking of different backgrounds, Jason Osborne, Olympic rower, the man on the front. And if you were looking for somebody who can beat Michael Vink on this climb, look no further than the current world champion. Jason Osborne, once he's on form, he is almost impossible to beat. And even Michael Vink has to give his best to Osborne. Is this the sort of effort we're going to see? And we did see that last year whilst we're making our way in at the moment, 6.9k to the first of our Sprints of Santa Fe sprint in Category 1. The World Championships saw riders starting to focus on different training for those World Championships.
Yes.
And that meant that other riders who maybe struggle to take on people like Osborne or Vink on a long climb, actually, because Vink and Osborne's focus, and some of those people who had qualified for the Worlds was changed to shorter, sharper efforts because of the format, it gave the chance for other riders to come in who maybe are battling for a top 10 rather than for the win.
Well, I'll tell you something. There are a lot of riders out there at the moment who are focusing, and these four in particular, I imagine, they read that message that came out this week with, I was going to say glee, but probably with real thought and consideration, because it is now clear what those stages are going to be and roughly what the makeup of them is, and that will allow them now to tailor their training to those World Championships.
So one rider at least already distanced by this group, just off the back of the pack. You can see that on the top right-hand side of your screen. That's the radar view of the riders as they make their way in and through, as well as the course profile. The course profile is the red line. It does move up and down when we do get to a hill or a bridge, I promise you. But at the moment, that terrain relatively insignificant, and therefore that line not moving too much. You can see here it's moving more, and that's because we're heading in towards a down downhill, which comes after this sprint. The riders in Category 2 about to hit the Santa Fe sprint, and already seeing one rider kicking off from the front of the group. Mercier going for it, going for a long one here today. Simmons is right up there, so is Betty. Now, I think timing is going to be critical.
Look at Mundell.
That's a great kick by Mundell. Good timing, but he did spend a lot of time out in the wind there. I think he's going to give it to Simmons. Simmons has got the jersey. You've got the results.
Ollie Bigley Simmons, who takes the sprint in Category 2 from Carlos Ospina from Maciej Skierski. Simmons, can I just say, averaged 15 watts per kilo. Big it up, Bigley.
That is a Bigley amount of watts per kilo. Yeah.
There he is. Post-sprint recovery going
Ollie,
on.
these time out.
Job. Time out. Great
Definitely.
effort. Well-deserved greenskin suit.
And he's got money. He will have money heading to his bank account because he's just won the sprint segment.
Oh, yeah.
That's the 10th of the sprint. That's always nice. That always makes you feel good.
Well, a little bit of recovery going on at the moment from Simmons as the rest of the pack come to his will. Jakob Bjorklund closing it down. James Krasnich is there. Simmons will sit back in the bunch, take some well-deserved recovery. And go again shortly when they get to the Coffee Plantation sprint in about 7 kilometres.
Well, Category 1, we're not at that sprint, and looks like Ricardo Panizza has decided that, inspired by the Giro, he's going to go for a long one. He's going to do that long breakaway that we saw being so critical to the results of the overall finish for the UAE team Emirates. Took second place. Congratulations to Isaac Del Toro on that placing in the Giro in second place. It's not resolved surprise.
I'm sorry, whilst we were talking about watts, did you see the watts of Wout van Aert on that climb?
Yes, and beyond it when they caught him. And I think for me, in some ways, that I'm waiting to see
ever power.
I'm waiting to see the power. Well, it's a scary amount of power. I'm really interested in seeing how the numbers compare because the Simon Yates's power up the climb was 6.2 watts per kilo for an hour up the Finestra. That compares to 6.4 for Tadej Pogacar of the UAE Emirates team in the Tour de France on a climb, but that was a 44-minute climb. And that was in week 1 rather than the Finestra climb, which is
at the
potentially
end.
the hardest climb in the peloton that the peloton takes in.
The penultimate
at the end,
day.
On the penultimate day. But it shows you the level. I mean, we're talking like an hour's racing at nearly 7 watts per kilo, whilst dealing with gravel, whilst dealing with turns, hairpin bends, press, spectators, people running out in front of you. All those distractions, all of those influences just shows you just how tough it is to ride and race out there. But we saw the moves by Van Aert, instrumental in the win by Yates because he was there, motor pacing down. I'm waiting to see those tactics come into play here on the Sunday Race Club because we're starting to see that. Now, that's not available for riders who are here effectively solo.
Oh, Matt, you just missed the wave from Christoph Lubis. Great to see him on our screen.
I was just looking at his name down on the
I think it's the first
sheet.
time we've seen him on screen.
Good to see Chris. I'll wave again now that he waves again.
Great for you to join us. Panizza, Flubis, Jones, Pucker, Van Elster, Osborne, all in the mix here. And I was about to say, Matt, that I don't think it matters. You know, elite sport is phenomenal. And I think what I really enjoy is the fact that these disciplines are all specific. And I remember when we were chatting, you know, Peter Sagan was at the World Championships in October.
Yep.
He did not want to contemplate racing those men on the stage. He really saw that they were a discipline in themselves and that it was different to road cycling. And as an ex-world champion, he saw the value and just the awe of what they were doing on that stage.
In his words, I'm not going to come and race only to come 50th, which is what would happen if I raced against them, or to come last, because they're all going to beat me, because it is so discipline specific. One man who can beat pretty much anybody in the sprint there is Jasper Paradis, 200 meters, kicking down 1,262 watts. So that's 17.7 watts per kilo for that 11 seconds.
He's stretching his legs, isn't he?
Yes, I was actually It's really interesting to see the numbers going down there and to see those performances. Remember, of course, these riders racing on the pain cave with no distractions, putting down those walls. No surprise to see Paradines go. Interesting, Norrin had kicked down hard and Mail kicked down hard, but they didn't have the timing, I think, of Paradines.
No, and also the other thing that was interesting, Pau Skierski took a shot at that sprint as well, having just come up from category 2. All credit to him.
Yeah, excuse me, great ride by him. Jason Osborne back on the front after the sprint, just pushing through the other side, tapping a rhythm out here. And this is dangerous for everybody else because Jason Osborne is a rider that you cannot let go down the road. I was listening to the Move podcast, and they said the biggest mistake made in the Giro was to let Wout van Aert go over the top of the climb on the last mountain stage, clear of anyone else and be a bridge for anybody coming up behind. And we've seen those kind of tactics a little bit where we've seen Knudsen go down the road, where we've seen pushes on here by Osborne and so on. You don't let Jason Osborne go down the road here on the Sunday Race Club for anything. You can't let him have a meter, a bike length. It's just not, that's not a tactic anybody should ever have. Let Osborne wear himself out. He won't. It doesn't happen.
Come on. The other week when he attacked and he literally attacked and held the pace for an hour and just rode clear, and you think, who even let him go down the road? Because you know he can hold 6 watts per kilo for an hour.
Yep. You could do the maths. Make sure you get up there now. Not all of the teams have mathematical geniuses on them, so don't let the gap go at all. Don't try and let them go any distance. Just close it down the moment you can. I think the same is true across all of our race categories to a degree. There are riders who are just great at those breakaways, pushing on. We're in with category 4 at the moment. We're at 26.2k. So pretty much half, we're just over half race distance on the way through. This is your leading group. It's still a pretty big bunch with Rusamaki in here. We've got Quiros van der Eek out in the bunch.
Yeah.
Ricky Kittle in here, Mason Rocker. It's a bit of a who's who of category 4. But on the front of category 1, Jason Osborne kicking on here. Saeed Safrazadi going with him. 2 teammates going down the road. We saw Knudsen attacking earlier.
Oh, look at Osborne call for Safrazadi to come through.
Let's work together, yeah.
Let's work together. Let's move away. And you know they can. They are perfectly capable, these 2 riders, of going away. And we've seen Safrazadi go with Osborne before. Van Elst is coming to the front with Pucker. And the pace isn't really picking up. Marshall Wu in the pack as well. The riders not really starting to drill this. Then Leonard Tugels starts to hit the power and 7.88 watts per kilo. Tugels has decided, I'm not letting these 2 go. In fact, Leonard Tugels has been having some great racing recently. He took 5th place last week behind Vink, Knudsen, Vujasin and Paradines on the Tel Marib climb. And I think he's got another top 5 finish in his sights today.
And as Leonard Tugels went up on the chase there, Lionel Vujasin following from the Alpha Jaw squad. Vujasin at the moment right up with Tugels. So is Van Elst. They're not letting this go. Following them along, sitting in the slipstream, Michael Doesn't, teammate of Safrazadi and of Osborne. But on the run into the rise on that slight climb there, the team going, and Osborne's just kicked again. In fact, as the cut away from him to dive in here at category 2, and this is already a decisive move trying to be made here. 18 seconds. James Krasnich, Jakob Bjorklund, Josiah Betty, chapeau. I take my hats off to you. You have gone for it, and they cannot be seen by the chasers behind. That is a huge gap.
Well, I'll tell you, Nathan Guerra's come to the front of the group behind and is absolutely pushing on, but nobody looks like wants to go with him. There's a 2-second gap from Guerra. He's off the front of the pack. He's decided he wants to chase, but nobody is going with him. Now, Betty, Bjorklund and Krasnich, to me, that could be a race-winning trio.
But surely this is an exercise in futility from Nathan Guerra here, because he's 1 man against 3. The 3 in front have not sat up. They are still dialing it here. Look at the pace that they're setting. They're setting nearly 7 watts a kilo, 6.6, 6.7. They're taking a break, going to the back of the group, and then pushing on.
Nobody wants to go with Guerra.
Guerra is gone, but he's not going to go. He's 1 man against 3. And the power he has to put down to go across is so hard to keep going. and you know there's going to be a response
Well,
from the group behind.
let's take a look at the pace. So the front three are currently moving at 45 kilometres now. This pack are moving at 35 kilometres now. Admittedly, they're going uphill now. And Guerra is hanging off the front somewhere in the middle. It's going to be really interesting to see when they all come down the other side and hit the flatlands what the actual differential is. But you can see the distance. Look at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Guerra is going to come back into the pack, and that energy is going to be expended, and he's not going to catch the group.
I agree with you 100%. And I think he's also got to contend with the fact that this group is going to come into the sprint. It's just around this left-hand turn. And the pack will naturally speed up as those riders wanting to take the sprint segment will start to sprint through from the back of the group. They're going to put the pace up. It's going to lift the pace. Guerra comes in. This also could do damage to the lead in front between this group and the three leaders. So Guerra pulled back into the group. The pace is going to pick up. We're at 50 kilometers an hour already. And now we see us going into this sprint. This is where you're going to see people launch to take the sprint. You can see them attacking off the front. The group is picking up to 55. The leaders going through there. They're going to be doing 60k an hour nearly in that sprint.
And this is going to be interesting now to see what happens. But I can tell you a little bit further down the road, the lead three in the Category 2 race have just got onto the back of a Category 4 and Category 5 packs because those races started ahead of them. And the groups, so they do have targets. They've got groups to keep picking and keep moving towards. This group here, Olivier Simmons, yet again,
no.
He doesn't. Carlos Ospina takes the Coffee Plantation sprint in Category 2 with the fastest time, but Olivier Simmons retains the green skin suit. This time, joining Jason Osborne, it's Ollie Jones.
And that's two teams represented. But look at this. Michael Knudsen is looking to break clear of the group and come across to the world champion. Come across.
So is Tugels.
So Tugels is responding because they can't let two teammates go down the road. Tugels is coming now. Behind it's a 2-second gap. I'm looking to see who else is prepared to kick across that group. No one has put down the big numbers. Vink is going to be the next to go, I think. He's at 10 watts per kilo nearly. So Michael Vink looking to chase this down, looking to go across, looking to break clear. If he can get across that gap, that would leave three roads. Osborne, Knudsen, and Vink up there.
Lyndon Milostic, the young rider from Australia who was second in that national championships, also going over. Vuyasin, Kaminsky, Safrazadi, everybody now absolutely dialing it because the pack in front is too big now for them to let go. They don't want to let that number of riders go because that will be the entire, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the podium.
So the front four riders with a slight gap back to this group behind. And this is the problem for Michael Vink at the moment. He can't bridge across. He can't break clear of the riders behind. You saw him ease off as they came onto his wheel. He eased off. He let the pace slow, and now he attacks again. He does not want to take the group with him across. You can see Saeed Safrazadi there sitting at 4.5 watts per kilo, trying to interrupt the chase behind Michael Vink. And now Vink again pulled back this time by former world champion Bjorn Andreasen. So at the moment, Vink keeps on getting pulled back. I think this is going to be the death knell of the breakaway in front here because they're not prepared to let go the world champion. They're not prepared to let go Knudsen, and they're not going to let those riders go down the road. Ollie Jones, another dangerous man to let go.
It is, but you know what's telling is that Michael Vink is the rider who's the teammate of Jason Osborne, and he's just brought the entire pack back. Well, the question is, they're about to go through the sprint, and the question is, will any of these riders go for the sprint, or will any of these riders attack through the sprint? I don't think so, though. Van Elst is keeping a good bit of power on those pedals. Josh Harris is there as well, but I don't think we're going to see any action from the sprint, and the group now settling a little as they take this right-hand corner.
Well, one of the things for me is that this group know that Paradines is behind, I think, at the moment. And I think he's been dropped from this main lead group, and that is going to put the pressure on.
Kennett, look at that. That was one rider testing his legs out. Christoph Flubers taking the sprint in Category 1. Carlos Ospina in Category 2. Dylan Kennett setting the fastest time overall in Category 3. 18 watts per kilo. Rick Van Erck, Category 4. Mike Broadbent, Category 5. And Alexander Fiedler, Category 6. Don't discount that sprint from Dylan Kennett. Absolutely ex-track racer. And for New Zealand, coming back.
Track riding And if you think of a typical track meeting, you don't just race one race. You will race a
Time and
number.
time again.
Yeah, you race the scratch, race the points, race the devil. You'd be racing multiple different races. You would be sitting on the rollers between keeping warmed up, and it's a bit like riding on here. That you've got this keeping warm, keeping recovered, kicking again, putting in a full-on race effort, coming back off again, and that's what we see. And that, for me, is why track riders, when they do make this move across, really are able to push on and really make a difference. And I think that's why we're seeing that progression. Now, we're going to just jump across from category 1 on the left-hand side of our screen, where we have Jason Osborne on the attack again. 5 seconds his gap to the riders behind. Osborne are looking to use the big group in front as a springboard. He's chasing all the riders. The rider at the very front of the race is Brett McMurtry on the right-hand side of your screen. He's currently at 35.9k. He's going to head in towards the tunnels and then come out the other side, heading in towards the climb. He has to do a Aguila. He's got the big bunch chasing behind him.
Yeah,
Jason Osborne in a very similar position with the bunch behind, but the response is not coming to Osborne, as we have seen it come back to Brett McMurtry there. And at the moment, Jason Osborne's gap is going out, not coming down.
Well, the Category 5 group have just come through the Wax Palm Sprint, which is where Category 6 had already gone through and were transitioning forward. Brett McMurtry on the front, now coming back into the pack. And that pack is a strong group of riders. Going through the sprint, it was around 25 riders. It's going to be interesting to see when we go through the next sprint segment exactly how many riders are in that group. But Category 6 are rolling strongly at the moment, 36.5 kilometres into the race. Maxime Fabre is there as well. You can see him with the fan blowing. They've still got some way to go as they hit the boardwalk here in Colombia. And I love this section of this course. I absolutely love it when they come through the caves. They're fire lit. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's a great part of the course to race. But Cadabona, McMurtry, Dotto, Milano, Wolf, Fabre, all in the mix here.
And Fabre, a Frenchman, France has some fantastic cave paintings, prehistoric cave paintings on the wall, very informative.
In France.
In France as well. So combining two of Emma's passions there, the subterranean world and cave art as well.
Is cave art one? I didn't realise cave art was one of my passions.
It will be when you see it. It's amazing.
Oh, really? Okay.
It really is. Now, Category 6 leaders has changed because Wojciech Sebs are back on the move as they come up on this little rise, just trying to use the riser onto the boardwalk to break things up. It's not far back to the Category 5 group. Now, they are travelling quicker than the Category 6, as you would expect, but Category 5 really accelerating, and we can see at the moment 39 kilometres an hour at the moment on the run in towards that race section. It's going to be about 50% of the caves separating Category 6 leaders from Category 5 leaders. As they go through this cave section, when they come out the other side, we've got the Monpok City Sprint, and then we're very quickly in to the climb that is the end of the race route. So the leaders on the road at the moment into the subterranean world, the almost Tolkien-esque raised passageway in through the underworld here. But behind Category 1, Jason Osborne seems very, very active today. I had a little glimpse. I thought Michael Vink was trying to bridge last we saw. Michael Vink's tactics of trying to get across, he knows that they're probably the two strongest. They've just got to separate themselves out. It's a very clear race picture for them. Category 5 and 6, it's not the same, is it?
No, the Osborne-Vink dynamic is really interesting, isn't it? They train together sometimes. They race together as well. They'll know each other's strengths and weaknesses. They're also on the same team, the Boss Moves Only squad. And sometimes I look at it, I think, well, who is the boss? But Category 5 at the moment, look at this. This is a good-sized group. Polacca, Mountier, Atkins, Dromard, Roy, Kendall. This is going to be a really great race as well. And I think they're going to come up onto the back of that leading group in Category 6 fairly quick.
Indeed, they are. Jussi Polacca. Good to see Jussi on the bike. They just crashed over the tri-bus. So he's in action at the moment. So He's just holding the front of this group. No, he's looking very cool and composed here at the moment on our screens. Just holding that rhythm, looking for when he needs to put the pressure down. Currently, just riding around zone 3 or 4 at the moment as he goes around that right-hand turn. As he makes his way over the top, Mark Dazson now just holding the front of this group. They've got a little way to go before they get to our next sprint. I'm going to just jump back across because we just had a comment come in on the live. Don't forget you can get in touch with us live on the show. If you're on the YouTube channel, we do try and keep a check of the live chat. And a comment come in from Craig Kennett, who is a relation of Dylan Kennett.
Well, he is indeed. You know, I wasn't going to big him up that much, Dylan, but,
for a change,
we'll let Craig do that instead. He did indeed win the flying lap and the kilo at the Rio Olympics as part of the Omnium, beating Cavendish and Viviani. Plus, he beat the same riders in the scratch race bunch sprint. He a world-class track rider.
Shows
Time
you.
away from the bike. Now coming back through MyWhoosh, we saw him come into category 6, where he came on board and he'd gone to Cat 6. Then he came to Cat 5, Cat 4, now Cat 3. It's going to be really interesting to see where he goes.
We will see. Now, Category 6 riders are on the way in towards the sprint here. On the way through the sprint, through the Monpok City sprint, Ephraim Mamba will look to put in a great sprint there as Joel Warren takes the points there. He's leading the competition in that sprint competition. He's got a sprint. Would he be quicker than Cavendish and Viviani? I'm not so sure. I think absolute class. But Joel Warren absolutely flying at the moment and taking top marks at the moment. Now, category 2. In with the riders in those green jerseys, just coming up over the bridge here and heading down the other side. 33 kilometers covered, still 2k from the Wax Palms sprint at the moment, and all is looking relatively calm in here. You can just see Josiah Betty currently in zone 2.
Well, you can do indeed. And Betty Allenshung, Ricky Lane is in here as well. Really great to see these riders pushing on here, and interesting to see what is going to happen in this Category 2 race. I'm just taking a little look at the Monpok City Sprint, which is the final sprint of the day. Category 6 and Category 5 are now through that section at the 39.2 kilometre marker, and I can tell you Category 5 came through very hot on Category 6's wheels. 28 riders in the leading group in Category 6, coming up to the 40 kilometre marker. That is just phenomenal.
They're huge groups at the moment, and I think that is playing into the hands of anybody who thinks that they've got the power and speed to travel up that final climb. I mean, we hit the base of that final climb at 44.9k. We finish at 50.3. That means that you've got to be able to nail those final kilometers at some serious speed to go clear. And nobody's been able to break these bunches up, no matter how animated they are in these categories. Potentially, it's only Category 1 where we're going to see 1 or 2 riders going into that climb in the lead.
Yeah, 28 riders Category 6, 20 riders Category 5 through that same point, coming up to the 40 kilometre marker. So with the final 10k to go, those 2 races still have large leading groups. Well, Category 2, you can see them on the left-hand side of your screen. They're at the 28.3 kilometre marker. A little way back is Mr. X100. You can see him just on the back of the group. In fact, the Category 1 pack have gone past him. SS, however, his teammate, firmly ensconced in that group, nice and tight in the mix. Daniel Mundell, is there. James Krasnich is there. Those riders absolutely pushing on. Simmons is there in that green skin suit. So is Burke Kane. Colin Kane riding and racing really well too. He's in there as well. This is going to be an interesting race as well, I think. Holweiler is here, Nuki is here, Hansen is here. There's a lot of riders in this group who could go well today. Whereas in the group, he's come back into the pack. The question for me is, where's Betty?
Oh, do you know, I nearly came out with a Michael Caine
No.
impression there. But news coming in hot on my ears, or hot through my headset, is that Josiah Betty is in the group, and in
Which
fact, he
means
just
they've
came
made
on
the
our screen.
catch.
Yes.
There you go. They have indeed. Betty and the riders who had gone clear. The catch has been made in category 2, and they are back in the bunch. Well, the rider not in the bunch at the moment in category 1 is Jason Osborne. He's clear of the bunch by 5 seconds, but Michael Vink, Leonard Tugels, Bjorn Andreasen and Stefan van Elst are the riders on the front of the bunch, and you can see them coming. They are absolutely dialing it at the moment. Well, the rider dialing it at the moment is Hayden Pucker. Look at that as he crosses over. He wants that wheel. So Pucker is pushing on here. He's got a category 2 rider in the middle, but Jason Osborne is the rider. He is trying to close down.
And Hayden Pucker just coming back from that crash the other week on the gravel,
Ow.
and yeah, now we're starting to heal. He's still covered in plasters and bandages and whatever else, but he's on his way up there. That gap was yo-yoing, and as soon as they get sight of him, as soon as they see that gap coming down, you're seeing this move. We've seen Pucker go across, but then you're seeing people marking and covering the moves off.
Yeah.
You know, Knudsen, Vink, Safrazadi covering the moves off in that squad, in the Boss Moves Only squad. They're riding well as a team. Pucker here for the Farm Walk squad, stretching his legs out. This final climb, we know Pucker is a big, powerful unit. It could suit him because it's not, you know, we're not climbing that much height, 325 meters.
Well, that's a fair amount of height. It's
well,
no, listen. So
4.9
kilometres of climbing, average gradient 6%, but there are a lot of kickers over 9% on that climb. It's very steady on the early slopes, but then it really does start to kick. And the phrase I would use are indeed kickers. Lots of kickers over 9%.
So what you're saying is effectively that because of those steeper sections, that's where a rider who's got plenty of power, like Hayden Pucker, is maybe going to lose out on the against the pure climbers, and
yes.
that could be the difference on that climb.
Yeah, a little bit different, I think, to the climb that we saw the women use today in Hederiat, which was also was a stepped climb rather than a climb with kickers. There was respite and recovery on that climb. For me, I'd love to see the men on that climb. We've not seen them on that climb in Hederiat. For me, it would suit riders like Pucker and other riders in the pack over the types of climbs we see in the men's race.
Well, we'll have to see how that plays out.
Or
Will
if we
we
ever
go there?
there?
I hope we do. I certainly hope we do. Having seen the slopes that are replicated by the towers and the elevated roadway being formed on Hedera Island in a man-made mountain in person, I have to say, I'd be really interested to see how that would be raced. Now we're just going to take a little bit of a look across at category 6 at the moment. Rennie Olsen has gone clear in these later stages. We run in towards the climb. His gap at the moment is 30 seconds. Now, how much room are they prepared to give him? Because at the moment, that is not even a lackluster chase. That's not a chase.
No, there's no chase coming at all. And Olsen is just sitting there, zone 3, zone 4, tapping out his own rhythm at the front of the race. The rest of everybody else has been looking at each other. They're 30 seconds back. Rooney, Sebser, Verbeest, Fabra, all in there. Bianchi is there as well. Lenador is there. Cadabona is there. Dotto is there. So riders we would expect to see at the front of the race in category 6. They're all lining up behind, but the man they're lining up behind is Rennie Olsen. And he is continuing this great tempo on the front of the category 6 race. You can see he's currently moving at 37 kilometres an hour. The pack are rolling at 33.
Rennie Olsen's best performance so far on the Sunday Race Club, a 9th. He's got a number of 10th places. It does vary a little bit, but this potentially is looking like the This is his now 12th participation in the Sunday Race Club. It's starting to take effect. He's starting to get it dialed, getting the pace right, and this could result in his best result. He only needs, if he comes through nice, he's improved on his performance. Big win. And at the moment, he's got the gap. He's got 36 seconds between him and the chasing group behind. He's onto the climb, whilst the rest just turning that right-hand turn around the corner. Now, back from Category 6, the furthest riders down the road to the riders currently leading Category 1. The last riders to come out from the pens. Mikhail Kaminsky, Ollie Jones, Michael Vink, the riders on your screen at the moment. They are riders who are clearly looking to open up the gaps on the front of the race. So Kaminsky and Jones and Vink at the moment on the front of that race. In that big group, the gap's starting to open. We're going to jump in and across to Category 2. We're in with SSSS, looking like he's holding his powder dry at the moment. Olivier Simmons in the green skin suit. Surely that is now effectively his. They've not only put it on his shoulders, they've cut it to size and tailor-made it for him.
Well, there's 2 more sprints to go,
I know, but he's looking so secure. The way he's ridden that, I think that's his target for today's race in terms of the first part. Part 1, get to the base of the climb, and in that, take those sprints. And then I think he's going to switch his mind over from going for sprints to going and across to the climb. It may be that he thinks those steep sections are not for me, or it's too long, or whichever it is. And it could just be the profile. It could just be he knows that he's got 4 or 5 sprint efforts and maybe not that long effort at the end in his legs
Well,
today.
the pace has really come off this pack of Category 2 riders. Take
Yep.
a look, 33.5 kilometres. Zone 2 at the moment for Betty. You can see that on the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see the zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when we highlight the rider in blue on the names list underneath, it's their power, their zone that they are currently riding in, which is highlighted. So it really gives you a really clear idea of how hard that individual rider is pushing. Now, at the moment, Robin Glennon is at zone 6. He's absolutely dialing it on the front of this race at the moment, and took the climbing competition overall last week. Really good to see, showing us those climbing legs again today.
And one of those riders who is a regular rider on the Sunday Race Club, a relatively new rider to Sunday Race Club,
yes.
but attacking on the front here. Somebody who from doing the live coaching.
Yeah, used to join me. Would have been morning in Canada, lunchtime in Europe. Used to join on a Monday and Wednesday onto the live coaching. He's setting himself up and part and parcel of the Sunday Race Club. A man who has had a lot of help from a bike shop.
Well, you've got bike shops are a really critical thing. Often the hub of the community, and wherever you are in the world, you need the bike, you need the kit. And so he's got a local bike shop. I started off when I was 13. I was working in my local bike shop. Some of the happiest days of my life working in my first job in a bike shop. So good to hear the local bike shop supporting him. Do you know the name of the bike shop?
I do indeed. And there's also a gentleman at said bike shop called Parker, who Robin has asked me to give a shout out to. It's Blacksmith Cycles in Toronto.
So if you are riding in Toronto, go call in to Blacksmith Cycles. Call in at your local bike shop if you're out and about, and go visit. Not only can you look at some gorgeous bikes, because we all like looking at bikes and kit, let's face it, it's one of the best ways to spend your time with a coffee, looking at some really nice kit, but also do say hi and thank you, and tell you there because Robin got a shout out on the Sunday Race Club.
Can I also tell you, Robin is a professional cyclist. Do you know what he does for a living?
Go on.
He is Toronto's fastest and one of the most well-known bike messengers in the city.
AKA crazy bike messengers. Really interesting to see Robbie Clendenin on the right-hand side of your screen using those bike skills to go up. There was a great 80s video of New York bike couriers racing through the yellow cabs. Absolutely. I mean, on fixed wheel bikes.
Well, there is.
Absolute.
There is bicycle
brilliant.
messenger racing.
Yes.
It is a thing.
Yes.
And Robin has participated.
Has he?
In 2019, he beat the world's fastest bike messenger from New York named Dominican Chris.
Yeah, Dominican Chris.
Yes.
Go go look up the old video. I don't know if they're available on what platform, but go have a look at that. Enough of racing around cities on fixed wheel bikes.
It's
Bike
brilliant.
messages. Very, very. I always dreamed of being one, and never. I think I missed my way. Maybe I should have done that rather than work in a bike shop. So probably a bit too crazy for me. And although I did try replicating some of their skills that you should never try at home, including hanging on to buses through the middles of towns. It's not something I would recommend to anybody to do, and I didn't crash doing it, but it was very close at times. Now, as you can see, Robbie Clendenning on the moment on the climb, making his way up in Category 5. He's worked his way up to 14th, so he's going to be into 13th very quickly, just going over Vladimir Toro and heading up towards the front of the race here at the moment. Category 6 leaders being passed by the leader in Category 5, and it means that Robin Clendenning, the bike courier from Toronto, now up heading for the front of the race. And Sebastian Wolf says, no, I'll have none of that. I'm going to answer this move, but I tell you something.
He's not going to be able to.
No, Clendenning really is on a bit of a mission here in Category 5. He's used that Category 6 group to go to the front of the race. And Hoy and Wolf now on the move. Benjamin Hoy really starting to push here ahead of Wolf, McMurtry, Vaz, Silva, Winfield, all trying to get onto the wheels of Wolf. Wolf at the moment hovering between zones 4 and 5 as he leads the group of Category 6 riders up here. Ahead of him is just the one rider from Category 5. And I'll tell you something, Robin Clendenning has known when to turn it on. I'm not sure whether he's got a parcel to deliver that's on a time deadline at the top of the climb. Please tell me you're not riding with a messenger bag over your shoulder.
No, can't be. Very shortly, we'll see into his
sure
pain case. I know he's not set up yet, but Junior Silva is, and Silva is part and parcel of the chasing group behind. This is a leading Category 6 race. McMurtry, Hoy, Wolf, Silva, Winfield, Vaz, all in that group. Look at the size of it. There's 10 riders in that leading group at the 47.1 kilometre marker in Category 6 versus the one rider leading the charge in Category 5.
And you can see here Junior Silva on the big chainring, out of the saddles, turning the pedals round, doing about 50 revs per minute. A real weight training session there to push that around. All about the strength. Clendenning 96, 97 revs per minute, really revving his way up as you would expect from a fixed wheel rider. Fixed wheels being used on the track. Similarity between Clendenning and Kennett. Both fixed wheel riders,
but
for
in
a
different
lot of their
worlds.
Racing, in very different worlds indeed, although you could say you need sharp elbows in both. Now let's go across to the Category 4 race. Left hand side of your screen, Nicholas Spratt at the moment, Trent Stevenson, Paolo Kirchner and co leading the Category 4 race. Not seen too much of that Category 4 race at the moment, and we're back in with them. Spratt at the moment leading up here, and they've got a gap, these three riders. The nearest riders behind that is it's only a few seconds, 16 seconds back to Luke Allport.
Yeah, I can see on the top right-hand corner, we've got these three riders away. So Spratt, Stevenson and Kirchner. 16 seconds back, though. It's a big pack, a huge pack of Category 4 riders. Luke Allport is there. Torsten Holtz is there. These riders really strong and will keep digging and keep pushing. But Stevenson, Spratt and Kirchner really riding strongly at the moment.
So let's see if they can hold on in Category 4. They're making their way over the top of Category 5 and Category 6 riders. Category 6 leader at the moment is Junior Silva. He's got Hoy for company with McMurtry and Winfield and Vaz not far behind. Category 5 leader is Robin Clendenning, bottom right-hand side of your screen. Category 4 leaders left-hand side with Spratt. Top right-hand side is Category 3, the leading group now on to the climb. Big pack yet to be separated out. And Category 2, the pressure is on. Wow. They are stretched out in a long line at the moment. It is Giselle Betty who has opened up the throttles. Mendakowicz, Van Heener and co are trying to go with him. But my goodness, they need to get the pressure on as they go past, said Dylan Kennett in the green skin suit left-hand side of your screen. Mendakowicz, Van Hee, Betty, Nair, Walter, down. This is a real who's who as they come into the sprint. This should accelerate the bunch back up to this leading group. But remember, this sprint, the Monpok City sprint, 200 meters, this finishes at 39.4K. we go on to the climb of 44.9.
Well, the 6 riders in Category 2 who are in the leading group are just 2 seconds away from this big pack behind, and as Matt is completely correct, the pack now sprinting onto the back of the leading group of 6, bringing this Category 2 pack together. We can see there Stepanek, Hansen, Guerra, all coming back to that lead group. 1 or 2 seconds, though, it is going to come together completely. But there's a big stretch on it at the moment.
So that group coming back together again, it's going to reform into
I
a
tell
bunch.
you, Ospina and Simmons have been having a head-to-head battle in that Category 2 race. Ospina's just taken the Monpok City Sprint. He also took the Wax Palm Sprint. In fact, Carlos Ospina has taken 3 of the 4 sprints. Simmons has taken the other one. So by my reckoning, Carlos Ospina should now be ahead in points and in the green skin suit.
Which means he takes away the overall win in that sprint competition, because there are no more sprints after the Monpok City Sprint. After that, you got a little bit of flat till you hit the climb, and then the only way is up, as per Yas and the plastic population. So Glendinning leading the race at the moment, right-hand side of your screen. Chasing group behind him, left-hand side of your screen. Category 5 chasers have now come amongst the Category 6 leaders.
That was tricky to say, wasn't it?
I wanted to make sure I got it correct, which was why I was very enunciated and precise with my pronunciation. You even get a thumbs up from Emma for my enunciation there and pronunciation. So as we go up onto the climb, Glendinning leading. That gap 29 seconds, nearly 30 seconds at the moment. That's looking a secure lead as Glendinning hits the 48.7k marker. A reminder, this race finishes at 50.3 kilometers. Before that point, we will get to the top of the climb segment, the one climb segment, the Alto de Aguila. And that is where those mountain points will be awarded. Take that segment. You're also going to take the overall one-hit wonder today on the climbs competition, unlike the 4 opportunities to score points and prizes in the sprints competition. And then from the top of that Alto de Aguila climb, we've
500 meters.
500 meters, yes.
We do indeed, until the finish line, and that will be where everybody is aiming for. Robin Clinton is the rider who may see it first today. He's at the 48.9 kilometre marker. Luke Kendall is giving chase behind. Jean Yannicki is there as well. Sebastian Wolf and Benjamin Hoy leading the charge in the Category 6 race. But that chase group now is a real mixed bag of riders. Wolf and Hoy are going to have to try not to overcook themselves by trying to stay with those Category 5 riders, but they also potentially need to use the opportunity to try and get away from each other.
Sebastian Wolf, we saw that when Glendinning went over the top. Glendinning went over the top of him. Wolf tried to go with him. He couldn't go with him, but he then put the pressure on the rest of the riders doing so. Hoy answered that pressurization. Winfield maybe not quite able to stay in touch as much. He's currently the 3rd rider in the Category 6 race. Remember, all of our riders finishing at the same point on race route here today. This is a route you can ride. This is the climb that takes us up to Medellin City. Then from Medellin City, you can climb up onto the Alto Paso itself, taking that long climb, go over the top, and then, of course, gather the extra Ks of going off the other side. The descent, for me, much better than the ascent, but some people like long climbs. Now, as we take a look down a little bit further down these race categories, Trent Stevenson at the moment leading Category 4, bottom left-hand side of your screen. He has dropped Spratt and Kirchner. You can see the duo behind him, the pair of red shed riders at the moment coming up. Will they be able to close the gap down? Stevenson pushing on through this group, using that draft advantage. His next rider, though, is 22 seconds up the road, so Stevenson really needs to keep pushing here, and the answer needs to come from Spratt and go behind. In the Category 3 race, Ivo Schur, who we saw on our screens earlier on, now starting to push on and push clear. A move being made here. Schur at 6 watts per kilo, bottom right-hand side of your screen at the moment. And Ivo Schur looking to go clear in the Category 3 race. Remember, these were our first 4 categories out from the Benz Category 6, 5, 4 and 3, clear of each other. 5 minutes between category 6 and 5, 5 minutes between category 5 and 4, 5 minutes between category 4 and category 3. Our leaders on the road, well, leader on the road himself is one man. He's 20 seconds clear.
Yeah.
Robin Clendenin needs to have got the pacing right here, Emma, and that is a
coming down,
danger.
isn't it?
It is, but he hasn't got far to go.
No, he hasn't indeed. He's got around 800 metres left on this course today. He's 22 seconds clear of the chase, but the chase is driving hard. Yannicki, Mukhtari, Villada, Gavaria, all pushing strongly in this chase group of 4. They can see their man ahead that they need to make the catch to, Robin Clennon. He's about to go underneath the polka dot banner. There we go. He goes underneath the polka dot banner. That signifies 500 metres to go. 500 metres, 25 seconds. The push is coming from behind. Yannicki now at 5.1, 5.3, alternating on that power. Villada is there as well. That's some power coming out of Villada as well. They're pushing for the fastest time on the climb as well. Robin Clennon has the polka dot skin suit at the moment. Is he going to keep it? Yes, he is. So for 2 weeks in a row, he takes the climbing competition in category 5. This week, we finish on a big climb. He's 23 seconds clear of the chase group behind. He's pushing on to the top.
So this is the run for the line, Robin Clendening. Currently, this is his, what I make the 6th participation in the Sunday Race Club. His best position to date, 7th place. And that position taken on the endurance climb. So showing us he had those climbing legs, but it's Robin Clendening at the moment leading on the road.
He is indeed. And at 50.2 kilometres, he looks up, he sees the UCI banner. This is going to be Robin Clendenin's first win on the Sunday Race Club. He's been with us just for 2 short months. He's learned the platform. He is a star today in that polka dot skin suit, taking the climbing competition. And he's going to add to it the yellow skin suit of the winner of category 5. Robin Clendenin, the Canadian rider from Toronto, comes over the line in first place. The race is on behind, and Yannicki and Villada, Gavaria and Mukhtari are all neck and neck. In fact, Villada comes up onto the shoulder of Yannicki. Who's going to take this? Yannicki, Villada, Yannicki. I think it's Yannicki just going to take second place today in that category 5 race. Really strong riding, and the push is on behind because this is a category 6 race as well as the minor places in the category 5 race. And Benjamin Hoy has taken the polka dot skin suit in the category 6 race, 10 seconds clear of Osmar Vass and Sebastian Wolf behind. But Benjamin Hoy is going to take the win today in category 6. Vass and Wolf will battle it out for second and third. Osmar Vass is going to come through for second place. Sebastian Wolf, well, he is going to take third place today. David Winfield looks like he's going to take fourth.
Well, the comment on the live chat on the YouTube feed was, go for it, Ben Hoy, go for it. He did indeed, taking away the climber's jersey, the white skin suit with the polka dots on it, to take away the prize in that competition, the segment prize for the Alto de Aguila, and as well taking away the race win in his category. We're a little bit further down the race route because Trent Stevenson is the polka dot skin suit just in front here of Jeff Rooney, and Trent Stevenson has continued to stay clear of the riders behind. Kirchner, Spratt, Almeida there. Almeida always comes good towards the end of the race.
He does. Often gets his timing just spot on, really squeezing the last vestiges of power out through those pedals towards the end of the race. But Trent Stevenson at the moment, he has got 200 metres to go. He is clear by around 17 seconds. So Stevenson putting in a fantastic finish here. He's in the polka dot skin suit like we saw in category 5 and in category 6. Stevenson pushing on strongly in category 4. It is indeed the 45 to 49-year-old Masters champion in Australia. That was a title he took earlier on this year. He's going to take the win today in Category 4. Trent Stevenson having a phenomenal year of cycling esports so far. How far can he go? Well, top spot today in Category 4.
Great racing, and that doubles his tally of wins in the Sunday race club. Immediately behind him, you're going to see that we have Kirchner coming through ahead of Spratt. So Stevenson coming through to take away top spot. Paolo Kirchner in the second place in Category 4. Third place in Category 4 going to Nicholas Spratt. Fourth to Franklin Almeida. Fifth to Matteo Pino, with Marin going through immediately behind in sixth place. Bit further down the slopes, Category 3 and Category 4 on the way up. Category 3 currently at 49.5k. They're 600 metres in front of the riders that we've seen on the left-hand side of your screen. And that is the big pack of riders, in fact, in Category 1, who are really closing in as well. So 46.2k for Category 1. So the distances are coming down a little bit here. But Category 3, at the moment, Nikhil Kansara, going for it here on the climb.
Yeah.
This might as well be his home course at the moment, the way he rides it. He might as well be out of his back door.
Well, you know, we said at the beginning, didn't we? Psychologically, when you love a course, you love a course, and you ride well on the courses that you love. Well, Kansara doing exactly that, but he's 2 seconds clear at the moment as he comes towards the polka dot skin suit. Will it be the polka dot skin suit wearer in Category 3 who takes the win today, as we've seen in Category 4, 5, and 6? Only time will tell. Will it go to Kansara? Will it go to Elos? It's gone to Nikhil Kansara. He is wearing that polka dot skin suit. Can he now win the race? Well, he's got Elos, he's got Heaney, he's got Patterson and Kalman. David Goodall is there as well. In fact, it's a group of around 11 riders chasing and chasing hard. Dorvan Ellos is the rider closest to Nikhil Kansara. Kansara continuing to push, continuing to drive, but Ellos is putting out some fantastic power. Dorvan Ellos is not a rider that we are unaware of. He has had some phenomenal performances on the Sunday Race Club. Long-time participant. He knows what he is doing, and he really has been putting in some phenomenal performances. He's going to challenge Nikhil Kansara right the way to the finish line today. They've got around 150 metres to go. The banner is coming. The gap is coming down. Kansara is going to have to do something. He's going to have to find a last effort dig here to hold off Dorvan Ellos, because Ellos is now on his wheel. Ellos is now coming up by the side of Nikhil Kansara. What has Kansara got? I'm not sure he's got anything, because Ellos is absolutely going to take this. Dorvan Ellos times this to perfection and takes Nikhil Kansara on the line. The sprint behind Peterson and Goodall absolutely nailing it for third and fourth, but Ellos takes the win from Nikhil Kansara in Category 3 by 0.3 of a second.
So Dorvan Ellos makes that 3 wins on the Sunday race, so just ahead of Nikhil Kansara, who ran out of gas in those last few meters. He takes the points in the climbs competition to take that climb competition overall. Kansara in second, Patterson coming through in third, Goodall in fourth, Rigillo in fifth, Short in sixth, Heaney in seventh, Kalman in eighth, Kellstrom in 9, and Becker in 10th position. Back in with Category 1, you can see Michael Vink at the moment has 5 seconds from Jason Osborne. Jason Osborne, though, has 17 seconds to Ollie Jones, Saeed Safrazadi and co, the big bunch of riders behind in Category 1. Category 2 is by no means anywhere near as clear-cut. David Dunn, Simon Walter, along with Ramirez, Grace, Milostic, et al., a huge bunch of Category 2 riders.
Well, it is, and that big bunch of Category 2 riders are about to be caught by the chasing group of Category 1 riders. Michael Vink down the road, Jason Osborne down the road. This is a big pack of Category 2 riders. There's a big pack of Category 1 riders behind them. Saeed Safrazadi is 29 seconds up the road as well. We'll go to the front of the Category 1 race, I am sure, very soon. But the Category 1 chasing group are now mixed with this pack of Category 2 riders. The question for me here, Matt, is, are any of these Category 2 riders going to try and hang on the coattails of these Category 1 riders and try and go clear of this group on the climb?
The answer is they'll try. I'm not sure whether they can. You've got to be a pure climber, I think, to be able to use those climbing skills to stay with them. And remember, this chasing group of Category 1 riders is not they're not fighting for third position either. Michael Knudsen is up the road. Ollie Jones is up the road. So is Fink. So is Osborne. And I think there's one or two other riders in that mix as well. So it does mean that Category 2 riders have got potentially an easier time of following this group because you don't have those real top climbers in Category 1 to chase.
Con Kane is one of the riders who has picked up the pace and tried to stay in here. Put Kane as well. Not surprisingly, because those two riders got a great kick on them. They're sitting in there. Simon Walter, another rider who we saw take his first win on the Sunday Race Club not that long ago, rider on great form in Category 2, is also trying to dig in and go with the group. So Christoph Flieber, Kel Power, Ricardo Panizza, the Category 1 riders who are in this pack. The top Category 2 riders now really starting to mix it as well. Burke and Khan Kayan, they are in here. They are desperately trying to hang on. So is Simon Walter. And this could be the decider of what's about to happen in that Category 2 race. Well, in the Category 1 race, Michael Vink at the front of the race is 8 seconds clear of the world champion Jason Osborne. Ollie Jones, Michael Knudsen, Sai Safrazadi are 23 seconds back. Then there's a gap back to Lionel Vu Yassin. It's looking like the riders are fairly scattered across the Alto de Aguila climb.
At the moment, Michael Vink leading this race out, being chased by the world champion Jason Osborne. I'm sure those positions were the other way around last time we jumped in with them. And Osborne was leading, but now Michael Vink really starting to put the pressure on, keeping that chain tight on the climb at the moment. So Vink, a man who's raced 110 participations so far in the Sunday Race Club. His strike rate is phenomenal.
It's just shy of 40% wins.
Yes, absolutely phenomenal. 45 wins so far, 17 second places, 7 third places, 12 fourth and fifth places. When you add that up, it means that he has been on a podium for a top 3 for a huge amount of time, well in excess of 50%, if not nearly 60% of the 60 odd percent of the races. I suspect that's going to be when Emma does the maths, because mine is nowhere near good enough to do that.
We'll take that. That's fine for today.
A phenomenal record of Michael Vink. He's at the moment clear of Jason Osborne, and Osborne is well clear of Ollie Jones in third place, 24 seconds to Jones. You've then got Knudsen, and then you've got Safrazadi, Kaminsky, and the rest of the riders. They are blown to pieces. It may have been very close on the run in to this climb, but it has exploded on the climb.
Well, it has indeed. And let's just do a check here, because the finish of this race is at 50.3 kilometres. Michael Vink took the win in Qualifier 4 in March on this course, 69 minutes and 40 seconds. He also took the win Qualifier 1 in April on this course, 70 minutes 32 seconds. He is at the moment looking like he's going to take the win today. And to be honest, the only person I think can challenge him is Jason Osborne. And Jason Osborne is closing the gap. The gap was at 8 seconds. It's now at 5 seconds. And Jason Osborne is on a roll. What can Michael Vink do? He's on a screen at the moment, and we can see him up and out of the saddle. He's driving now. He's got 500 meters to go. There's 500 meters and 5 seconds in this at the moment. It's Michael Vink versus the world champion Jason Osborne. They train together out in Spain. They race together on the Sunday Race Club. They're part and parcel of the same team, the Boss Moves Only squad. But today, it's Michael Vink versus Jason Osborne, the world champion. Vink in the polka dot skin suit, Osborne in the rainbow bands. Who is going to take this today? Can Michael Vink hold on? The effort on his face at the moment. He's determined he's going to cross that line. The gap is holding. Vink is going to do this again. I don't think there's anything that can stop him, not even the train that is the world champion behind. Michael Vink, for the third time of asking, is going to take the win here today in Colombia on the Alto de Aguila course. The win today, Category 1, goes to Michael Vink. Congratulations. Jason Osborne comes through underneath the line in those rainbow bands for second place today. The battle is going to be on for third behind because Ollie Jones is in the mix with the riders behind. It's going to be close behind for third place. Oh, maybe it's not. It's looking like Ollie Jones has ridden away from Michael Knudsen on the latter stages of the climb. He sees that banner. Vink in one, Osborne in two. Ollie Jones is going to come over the line for third place today in the Category 1 race. Underneath the UCI banner he goes. Michael Knudsen and Said Safrazadi look like they're going to round out the top 5 today. That's 4 riders in the top 5 for the Boss Moves Only squad. They've got to be lining themselves up for a phenomenal finale in June. They've got some way to go yet as Knudsen comes under the line for 4th place. It's going to be Said Safrazadi who takes 5th today, and Josh Harris absolutely dialing it behind. There's a sprint going on at the moment between Harris and Dugals. Harris takes it. Great racing from Josh Harris, the Australian champion. He is going to be one to watch, I think, later this month and later this year. The Category 2 race is going on here because Betty is coming through. He has got an absolute push on his shoulders at the moment, but in that polka dot skin suit, he goes under the line. Joe Sal, Betty takes the win in Category 2. The rest of the Category 2 pack coming in thick and fast behind. Great racing today on the Sunday Race Club.
So Category 2 leaders just coming through towards the end. Josiah Betty taking it from Chusinski. Then third place was Kane, 4th place Khan Kane, 5th place Nikolai Damsgaard, 6th Peter Milostic, 7th Zach Nair, 8th Simon Walter, 9th Maritza Ritter, and 10th place Patrick Stepanek. The top 10 riders in Category 1 on your screens, with Michael Vink coming through 1 hour, 9 minutes, 10 seconds. In fact, both Vink and Osborne coming in inside of the old course record here today. Ollie Jones just outside it by fractions of a second. He might actually have gone just inside. He's going to have to do a little bit of a chip. I think just outside. It is a phenomenally fast race today. It is teeing us up for a great rest of the month. This is qualifier race number 2. We have 4 qualifiers this month, and don't forget, of course, that means that we've got a 5 race of June on the Sunday Race Club. Make sure you subscribe on the YouTube channel. Tick that button. Make sure that you're notified when you go live. When we're live with the Sunday Race Club with updates on any of the racing that's happening. Don't forget, of course, make sure you subscribe to MyWhoosh on social media. It's at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook. You'll catch all of the latest content on there. There's some great content coming of Michael Vink from today's racing, courtesy of Jeff Nall, the team behind the scenes. So do make sure that you jump on that. Give at biking_Emma a follow for everything that Emma Martin is up to. Do give me a follow. It's at Matt Fixer Payne to see what I've been getting up to in between. And don't forget, of course, make sure you download the app on Android, on Windows, on iOS. Get on board. Join us for the Sunday Race Club, whether that is watching or racing. We love to see what you're up to, what you're getting up to. We'd love to be putting words to the action and you being the stars of the show. Thank you to the team behind the scenes, stitching it all together as always. It's a time for us to head off. Don't forget, we're back next week with qualifier race number 3. But from Emma Martin and myself, Matt Payne, stay safe. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye.